Are you wearing One Charge or Blue Blocks? Is that Blue Blocks?
This is cis performance. They sponsored me.
Okay, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
From where is it made?
So they have two of them here. So they're a company in Lebanon, but they
Oh,
have I know their optometrists and designers are in LA. So US and Lebanon.
oh,
But
wow.
they ship it out from Lebanon.
Okay. Yeah.
So
Nice. They sponsor.
good day and good night classes nila.
Yes, yes. I have also yellow from True Dark, from Bon Charge, from Raw Optics, from both. But I stopped using the yellow. I
Ay
just stopped.
talaga?
Yeah, yeah. Just stop using it. We still need blue light. We still need contrast.
I use this lang talaga if, because my monitor is so big. It's all TV.
Yeah.
Online
Oo.
clients mostly. And then after, I'm off lang like that.
Yeah, I used to also go out and then parang now no more na, wala na. It doesn't do anything ever since I removed it. It never really affected my sleep either.
Oh,
So,
okay. Pero
but it's a nice to have.
your orange ones at night then.
Sometimes if it's too much, but I've been doing it for 10 years na I don't even need it. But
Ah,
my place is but the place is generally dark. I just have my screens, but it's not enough to disrupt sleep anymore.
that's true. Yeah. Orange
Okay.
one, I really bring them pag sa, when you go to the mall, shopping mall,
Ah, yeah.
right. Grabe.
Yeah, or the airplane. Yeah,
But
kailangan.
airplane, yes, perfect airplane.
Okay. So I believe we are live. So good afternoon, everybody. Apologies for the late revert. We had some tech issues, but anyway, we're here, and this is a really special session because I've been wanting to have Coach Leo here for a while, and I've known Coach Leo for a bit. He's really a fellow biohacker. You see him wearing his yellow glasses right now. Only certified biohackers know about these blue blocking glasses, and they're not white with kind of a blue tint. They're actually really yellow and then orange tint at night. So that's it. No. So let me introduce him. Coach Leo is a certified personal trainer under the IFPA, which he was certified in 2014, and he is a functional training specialist under the Q Fitness system, which he built in 2018. Welcome, Coach Leo Quesada.
Thank you, Coach Ellie. Thank you for inviting.
Thank you so much for taking the time. I know you're super busy over there. So where are you right now, Coach Leo?
So now I'm in my personal training studio this year
Okay.
in Paranaque, Better Living Paranaque. Yeah. So I hold my clients, all my one-on-one clients, they come here. So it's private training, it's very specialized, customized talaga from person to person, depending on your needs. Also, clients but then online, especially those abroad or outside Luzon or too far. But yes, I'm pretty much here Monday to Saturday, the whole day. This is my happy place.
Yeah, so coach, I found out about Coach Leo because he's part of Biohacking Philippines, and I love like his shares and everything. He's so knowledgeable about so many things. Coach, if in a nutshell, what do you help clients with? I know there's something to do with movement. There's something to do with like Thomas Myers, I believe, right? Fascia and all and functional movement and everything. Yes.
So in a nutshell, I'll try my best. It's so I specialize in the realm of functional training, and I think that the term kasi functional training has been used a lot. I would even dare say it was sort of overused in the last maybe 5-7 years because it was a very marketable term for training. It was a way to show creative training. Now you're using different tools. You're not locked in a more like a bodybuilding or intimidating gym setting, di ba, with heavy barbells. And so it was a very friendly way to get people interested in training. So people use the term a lot. They throw it around. This is functional training. But of course, it caused also some hindi naman discord. It opened the door for many discussions, and it started. People started to ask, so are you implying my training is not functional or I'm dysfunctional? That's functional. I was really I came in the fitness industry, in sort of like the heat of that, and I found it both exciting at the same time, and I felt there was a lot of opportunity there to sort of clear the air. And it's something I naturally gravitated towards after trying different styles of training. I feel like it's put a lot of things together. For me, it synthesized many things. So functional training will have many definitions. Textbook definition would really just put it in a very plain sentence, such as, training that focuses on everyday activities like
Got it.
going up the stairs, carrying your groceries, daily life. And so for some, that's enough and that's great. But for most, it's not the most exciting definition. It's you. Okay, I go to
The
the
challenge.
here. I go
Yeah.
here just to walk or go up the stairs, diba? And carry groceries. That's really it. So I wanted to present it in a more exciting way also. One way to sort of harmonize also different types of training. And so I base it more on the functions of the human body. We go back to what are the functions, and I think it's in the name, functional training. We need to see what are our functions in the first place, and the only way to understand the functions of our body is also to understand our anatomy, our design, how our body is very intelligently designed.
You are speaking my language, coach. So,
Yeah, perfect. So, in understanding our design, we have a specific design that's unique from different animals. For example, we're a very unique animal that decided to stand up on our two legs.
Right.
When we walk, there's a certain pattern to it. It would be very strange if I came up to you and I walk like this. Should walk in.
well, you would call that homolateral if it's like the same side.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah.
Ipsilateral,
And
homolateral. Yes.
contralateral is the way we move.
Correct. So we're naturally contralateral. Diba? There's this diagonal and rotational pattern. And that led me down the rabbit hole to see what makes our body move that way. And that's when Thomas Myers comes in and the whole anatomy trains and fascia, diba? And study of fascia. And you see all these interesting lines in the body, literal physical lines,
Yes.
fibers that way. And that was a really eye opener for me because early in my days, like in my teens, I was exposed to the gym. Adding talaga. More like bodybuilding, heavy lifting. It wasn't YouTube yet or anything. It was like fitness magazines, di ba? You would sneak a peek, lalo na mag sa mga parlor, di ba? There's a pile there. And then, oh, they have this.
Parlor. Oh my gosh. You're so old school sa parlor talaga eh. Okay. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. True,
Yeah,
true.
sometimes I drive for my mom, di ba? Waiting for her. I'm like, oh, okay. These magazines. So no Instagram yet, di ba? No,
Yeah.
no
Wala.
TikTok, none of that. So the generation now is overflowing naman with
Yeah.
information that you sift through. But yeah, as the years went by, it led me to more curiosity about how the body really works.
Oo, kasi it's so hard to parang to discount the fascia, the connective tissue, interstitial liquid, even the fluid system, which makes up comprises so much of how the body moves efficiently and effectively. If not the physical part, also the signaling from the brain to, whatever part of the body needs to mobilize from a signal in the brain, which travels within 30 milliseconds. It's like, ang bilis. Before, for you to move your toe, less than it's faster than 1 second. So yeah,
it's so interesting because it's literally head to toe. We're wrapped in it. And
right.
so, and I used to think there were only two systems that do that in the body. That our nervous system, or so it's like power lines and grids, and then of course our vascular system for all the blood flow. And then you have this third system that's also head to toe, and that's fascia. And there has to be something deeper to it, diba? It's not just a covering or in the vernacular, it's not just lidded. When you're slicing, preparing meat, you remove the silver skin and just discard it. There is an actual function to it. And it really changed my perspective in training when I began to sort of make the connections with human movement. And that opened the door for me from focusing on training people to the usual, you want to build some muscle, lose some weight, lose some fat, improve your endurance. Now it opened up so many paths that began to show up and say we can specifically begin to address and manage certain pain triggers of the body. Now we could begin to help align bodies that have a certain lean to one side, either because of scoliosis. People, let's say, with perennial joint pains, the knee keeps hurting or the elbow keeps hurting. And now sort of opened up so much possibilities because of the connection of fascia, muscle, and the whole biomechanics of it. And we're able to sort of reverse engineer things, and then we can create better practices when we prescribe exercises. And so now it's a more holistic approach now all of a sudden.
Yeah,
And so
coach, my question. I have an interject a question because you know GHK, right? You know Germanische Heilkunde. And then we just had a my last session of Elion Point was with Coach Amiel naman, who is a
oh,
myofascial
I
therapist. Did you watch that? I'm not sure if you watched it.
I caught
But
snippets of it. I wasn't able to see the whole thing nga lang.
so what he said was because he's been working on fascia and everything, the physical part the whole time. And we know in Germanische Heilkunde there's psyche brain organ relay, di ba? So for him, the physical part, he's been working with some clients na 30 years na yung pain hindi pa rin nagre-resolve. For example, of a frozen shoulder. But ever since he found out about Germanische Heilkunde, GHK, or Germanic Healing Knowledge, the psychobiological conflict shock, diba? The psycho-emotional distress of the person that triggers that new mesoderm layer, which comprises everything that you're working with: the muscles, the fascia, connective tissue, the bones, the joints, cartilage, everything. And when you find out, because it's all self-esteem, self-devaluation, which a lot of athletes, a lot of movement experts, professionals have, diba? I'm not good enough anymore, ganyan. So when they address that part, nawawala yung pain. As in, they graduate fast. Kasi it comes from the source. The source is here eh. So when the cure is in the cause, so pag galing dito, the solution is inherently in the problem. When they address it from the source of the problem, it just corrects itself. Parang ganyan. So
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not sure if you've ever, tried that part. Kasi fascia's emotion eh, di ba? The
Correct. The storage system.
storage system, the pathway, and also if you look at, let's say, the neurology of emotions, where hormones are secreted in order to signal whether you're in fight or flight shutdown or whether you're in a good place. It's always contingent on emotions, and then there's that contingent on hormones, and then if you're in fight or flight, it goes to the hypothalamus, the pituitary, and adrenal axis to activate the adrenaline, cortisol, and everything for fight or flight. So where does that all go through to activate the HPA axis and to mobilize the muscles, the joints, and everything to run or to do whatever. So there has to be a way for that to pass through. So emotions and pain and the physical body and everything, they're all actually just one.
Correct, correct, correct. It super reminds me of a book I read several years ago. Why zebras never get ulcers. Ever come across?
Parang you told me about
Uh,
that before.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's by Dr. Zapolsky, who's an endocrinologist. Super interesting guy. He's the type who would, spend like 2 weeks in a forest, just camped out, and then just observing like, the hierarchy of chimpanzees or something like that. And then they would have like a sniper sometimes just to, they're gonna get a sample kasi of the hormones. So they would
Right.
sedate one of them evening and then drag get like a blood sample and then return then for
Love
science.
it. My kind of guy. Okay.
Yeah, and it's so interesting. And he said that zebras don't get ulcers, despite when you think about it, a very stressful life because lions are always,
Yes,
trying to
and
hunt them.
crocodiles also and what.
Crocodiles, and diba, depends where they are. And that was another eye opener for me, just connecting all these functions in the body. And he said, well, for one thing, we see the ulcers where it connects it's tied in very well with chronic stress, stressors on the body. But you don't see that in zebras, despite that kind of life. And so his theory was that when the zebras have to run away and they see the threat, everything in their system goes in secondary mode. So whether they're hungry or they just ate something, they have to digest it, whether they're ovulating, everything goes secondary mode because the primary objective is just to run away first to survive from the attack. And by the time that they survive it, they get to a sanctuary, no more threats. They learn to just calm everything down. Okay, we're back to just chill again. It's our life. And so all their systems restore again.
Would you say that then there are other animals or prey animals? Because zebra would be like, ano, like the horses, diba? Who are prey animals. They're not predatory. So would you say that the other animals are prone to ulcers? Like, did they find that in their research?
That's a very interesting question. I'm not too sure now, and why he also chose zebras specifically.
Oo.
That's something I have to look into now.
Yeah.
If he
Kasi
tried other animals also.
Kasi when
But
you look at the zebras, parang or the animal kingdom, they don't really have time to ration. They don't have the cognitive function to rationalize whether
yes,
they're safe or not. It's purely instinct. So for them, danger and safety, there's no imaginary danger or safety. There's no such thing. It's either they're in danger or they're in safe.
yes,
Yeah, actual. Not
correct.
like the humans who have a cerebrum, that we have a prefrontal cortex that will analyze, that will overthink and can even imagine that we are in danger when there's none. For example, the pandemic or a measles outbreak.
That is
So
even greater but in the actual
yeah,
danger.
diba? So fear nga, it's like defined as false evidence appearing real. So that's for humans. Animals, it's completely. So it would be interesting to see. I'll research after na if meron siyang nakita na other animals had.
Yes. I think I would like to think that the way I felt after reading it was I think he was using zebras as a representation of prey animals. So parang in general, I think that they really don't get ulcers, which ties in with what you said because it's
Yeah.
an actual danger, not imagined or not magnified by that.
Oo.
The interesting part there was that when they get to their fight or flight mode and they decide to run away, literally flight, so all systems go secondary mode because they have to divert all the blood and oxygen to their muscles, to their legs,
Right.
to really produce as much force as possible to get away. And then at rest, it reverts back. And Dr. Sapolsky was saying the problem with our modern lifestyle now is that we have so many lions lurking in the form of email from my boss, a text message from a relative. It's everything is just all day stress, diba? And fear. And so our systems go on secondary mode. And so you have all these systems in our body, whether it's even digestive system that's not functioning tip-top shape. That's why you can have cases of indigestion or very irregular bowel movement simply because they're just in a very chronically stressed out or fearful mode.
But
And
that gives us a lot of hope because if we can just kind of modulate our fear or which is actually what biohackers do. I mean, because we know how to self-regulate. And if there's like a real, we're not really in survival. It's not like there's a tiger that's ano, we can stay present. So parang that tells us na okay, so the zebras can do that and they never have biological programs, what we call in GHK. Not, we don't call it disease or illness. We call it a sensible biological special program, which is an adaptation program by evolution that will help them be more resilient to a distressful life experience. For example, being eaten by a crocodile or being eaten by whatever, a lion. So tayo, we have the power to attenuate it. Just come back to parasympathetic, come back to rest and digest. Then we can close the program na. No need to, 'di ba? Activate it even.
yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. What a great
Like
message.
really all lines up eventually.
I totally lines up, coach. Thank you for saying that. I'm gonna buy the book. Mamaya.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look for the book mamaya.
The inspiration I drew a lot from that was the movement side of it. That and of course, at that time, maybe 8, 9 years back, my focus was really on like movement and exercises. And I was so happy to see like my conclusion was like, okay, by running and activating all the leg muscles, the whole system, the muscular system of the zebra, it got to overcome all that stress eventually. And so that's where I kind of focused on like, what if not exercise really is, I want to focus on that side of exercise as a tool to manage our stress. Um, and, of course, aside from the other benefits of it as better body composition, more strength, more endurance, more mobility, but also that side that deals now with sustainable health, long-term health. It's beyond just a physical aesthetic
Mhm.
appeal of what exercise is, but also exercise to sustain us much
Yeah.
longer.
Movement as medicine.
Movement
Yeah.
as medicine, exactly. Yes.
Something came to mind, coach. Have you heard of Peter Levine? Peter Levine, he's in somatic therapy. auto-regulation, self-regulation and all. Ano, Peter Levine, he has something called, I forget now, the tiger something something. But anyway, he's in somatic experiencing. Somatic experiencing. So what, like what you were saying, the thing about the fear, fight or flight, is you mobilize and you actually use the adrenaline, the cortisol to good use because it's supposed to fuel you, 'di ba? What about the freeze response, 'di ba? What about the people who imagined a lion but did not mobilize? They just froze. That stress, sabi niya, is still there. It's still frozen in your fascia, in your tissues. What he does is, so yun yung, yung maganda sa ano, sa Animal Kingdom, they finish their programs. The people don't. People don't. It either relapses or it just stays in their fascia. And so they're constantly in fight or flight, even if there's no threat na. So what somatic experiencing does is they make you shake. So you shake off the frozen the frozen movement. You're completing the program. In fact, sometimes he says, "Okay, there's a burglar and you couldn't run, or a rapist or something, you couldn't run. Okay, go run now, run." And you just make them run. Then the parang that closes the program. So it's a great overlap kind of thing with what you're saying na
Yes,
yes,
yes. Right.
movement is really medicine in different from different angles. Absolutely. It's very healing.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's like our body was really designed that way to really move. Heavy on that. If someone asks me what's my definition of functional training, I simply say functional training is training by design. It's
Ah,
training by design, how you were designed. Meaning, functional training for a dog would be different from functional training for you. Like
right.
I always say, like the dog. Imagine the dog's like on a plant the whole day. If I make you
Yes.
the plant, just hold it for a minute, you'd complain. But your dog is on a plank all day, di ba? Different design, different functions talaga.
This
The
is the anti-gravity.
deeper we
Yeah.
understand our design, the more we can understand the functions. And I'll be the first to say, I feel like we only really know probably 30%. Maybe I'm even being generous. No? But everything about the human body, the brain, there's so much more mystery that we're still uncovering every day.
Kasi parang we paused evolution where we were not supposed to. I feel like, we're supposed to be evolving pa. And then for some reason, something stopped it. I don't know. And
Yeah.
I feel that ang daming missing pieces that through GHK, Germano siya hal kunde, because nawala yung fear ng functions of the body, like what you were saying, like the functions of a tumor, the functions of an ulcer, the functions of back pain, all of that, we understand it instead of fear it. And so through that knowledge, parang we're able to maybe evolve to the next level where we discover new things. I'm not sure.
It's super, I mean, it's very interesting to come across like, these very extraordinary people. For example, one person who, this was early on, but no, before, I think this was before the pandemic years, Wim Hof. Siguro you're familiar with Wim Hof, no?
My very first post on Biohacking Philippines.
Really?
The Iceman, of course. He's so old school biohacking.
Oh my gosh, I'm speaking with Wim Hof.
Totally.
Wow, I read his book, Way of the Iceman. Um, and it was so interesting because at the very core of it, it's just breathing. You think about it.
Yeah.
But the feats he's achieved is what, like 18 Guinness World Records, like Mount Everest, just wearing shorts. And the craziest part was there was this part in his book where, of course, a lot of detractors came in and people started to discredit him and said, maybe you have like some hidden secrets and support when you're hiking, and then it's just marketing that you're wearing shorts. They take a photo, but then again, you just cover up again. All these people will try to find ways. So he did a project. I think this was back in around that time, 2018. I think he took. I think there was 20 individuals with him. He said, "Okay, you might think I'm very gifted in hiking and all of that, and I'm strong, but I'll take 20 individuals who have barely any hiking experience, and I'm gonna take them with me to hike up to the peak of Mount Kilimanjaro." Fair enough.
Uh-huh.
20 people. Just give me 4 to 6 months to train them. And then all the training he did was just breathing, inner
Right.
fire, breathing, not even
Yeah.
actually like hiking. And out of the 20, 18 were able to go to the peak.
Wow.
Here's the twist: the 20 individuals he got all had some form of chronic disease, or in GHK terms, a special biological program. The usual transitional terms, you had a person with multiple sclerosis, you had various people with different types of cancers. That was the set of 20 people he got. He went beyond the challenge, not just your average person, who has no hiking experience. He got people who were told they were terminally ill, and he got 18 of them to go up the peak.
So many nuggets in that. So basically, parang they got people who were like him. Kasi he was suffering major constellations. He was suicidal. He was in poverty. He probably had kidney collecting tubules. He had what else can he get? Lung cancer or something, death right conflict or something like that. There's so many, depression, postmortal constellation. Ang dami.
Personal history is so tragic.
Sure.
Came home and his wife had jumped off the cliff, and he was left with 3 young kids. He had no idea what to do.
He had no money and just found solace in the cold shock routines of the frozen lake. The
Everything went silent daw, di ba?
Yeah, everything was silent. Tumo and everything. So sensory deprivation. And then also the going up the summit is, oxygen deprivation also, which extends life because of the Haleen Bohr effect also, which Dr. Charles was talking about in Buteco the other day. So many ways to biohack talaga. Ang galing. My gosh. Superhumans.
Superhuman talaga, di ba, when you think about it.
Na kaya natin lahat, 'di ba? Kasi basically we're essentially all of the same makeup, the same cellular makeup that everyone can achieve if we just had that mindset. And maybe these people who are about to die, like multiple sclerosis is a motor conflict now, I'll never walk again. But it's mind over matter as well. It's like um, if you have terminal cancer, it's parang you get out of your own way and you just, I don't care. I have nothing to lose. I'm just gonna go. Most times, that's all we need to do and say.
Actually, me,
I don't care. I'm just gonna whatever and just do this thing. Right? Just open that gate that's 3 inches long between the ears and then just do it. Which, by the way, I'm guilty of. So yes.
yeah, I think all of us naman to an extent, di ba, we're all, and this is
Yeah.
something I like to always ask a survey with my friends, especially us Filipinos in our culture. I'm sure other countries have their own culture, but in my Barkada friends, it's very interesting because one of us um, grew up with, and I think it's not a surprise, very strict mom who didn't want him getting wet when it rains. Pag naambunan ka, oh no, you're gonna get sick the following day. That's a drizzle. It doesn't even have to be drenched.
Right.
So parang yung first droplets of water, there's something about it that will give you a fever the next day. Parang ganun yung
Right.
and it's so instilled in so many kids. And they grow up into full 30 plus, 40-year-old grown men who will still run away from a few droplets. So in my barkada, one of us is very much afraid of the drizzle. And so when we're outdoors, we're walking, and it begins to drizzle, he'll be the first to run, look for shade. And he would go like, "Wait, guys, you're gonna get sick." And me and my other friend naman, we grew up playing in the rain.
Right.
I'm thankful to my parents. They let us like I grew up with 3 older brothers, so you could imagine the chaos. Just really running around. It would rain. We would run in the streets. We would just chase each other. So rain to us wasn't really anything. There's no fear to it. We loved it. And so when there's a drizzle, okay lang. Of course, I don't want to get drenched, but it's more of the hassle of it. Diba? You don't want naman. No, it's more of the hassle, not the fear of
Right. Absolutely. Yeah.
So let's say that happens on a Friday, and then it's just a light shower, and then my friend and I are okay, and then we have this third friend who is hiding there with umbrella.
Yeah.
Come Monday, who gets sick?
The power of the mind. My mom used to tell me that also. Oh, naulanan ka, maligo ka. Maligo ka kaagad, ganyan. Otherwise, magkakasakit.
Wow.
Ouch. Did you see that? I posted it in the Biohacking Plus GHK group, the private group where I add GHK. And there were people there who posted exactly that. Na pag naambunan sila, sinasabihan sila na magkakasakit.
Yeah,
And they still have that, for some reason. And so we told them na parang, okay, the next time it rains, lumabas ka. And then just say na, oh, it's so, the rain is so nourishing for me, so beautiful, makes the trees grow and everything. They did. And for the first time, walang nangyari. Walang sip-on, walang fever, nothing at all. It's all here. Our power is here. Grabe.
Grabe, grabe.
Galing. So
And
galing.
when you think about that concept, we can make ourselves sick. No, we could get sick by thinking about it. Therefore, it should mean we can also make ourselves better if
Exactly.
we have the correct mindset or psyche, right?
I mean, evolution is all about survival. So we're really, parang driven by fear.
It's very,
Oo.
very interesting.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you can apply that, diba, with so many other things, cultural things. Because I have a friend naman who's married to a foreigner. She's in Switzerland. She grew up like that, afraid of yung mga ampunan. But her husband doesn't care at all. As in, literally drenched, just walking.
It's so interesting to see.
It's just
Sobra.
cross cultures, and I'm sure they have their own version of something else, diba?
They
Um,
do. Yeah, they
yeah,
likely
kasi
do.
nga fear driven also and all of that. So super, super.
One of the things that I love about Coach Leo that I will never ever play down or forget is Coach Leo saved me because I was one of those people who was into bulletproof keto carnivore and fasting mad forever. And I thought it was the bomb of the world because it made me so payat for like years when I was in normal hormonal status. But come peri and menopause, where your hormones change. Oh my gosh, what was your cure will become your your bane. So I was really feeling terrible. And until Coach Leo said, first of all, when I heard about carnivore in 2018, I was also dumbfounded. Nilang, isn't that bad for you? And then you eat, then you try it, and it's like, oh my god, myth busted. And then until then, Coach Leo told me, you should know, you should eat more, drink more milk, and have more ice cream, and eat more sugar, so that will cure you. Same thing na naman. I'm like, are you kidding? Holy kamote! It turns out that the repeat diet and bioenergetics is the nutrition guideline of all dapat. Period. Coach, how did you get into that? And are you using that in your wellness protocols?
Lately, that Ray Bean was a really big inspiration in terms of in the side of nutrition, especially for fitness coaches. There's always a saying where 70% of the work is really done in the kitchen, and 30% is here in the gym, especially for those who want visible abs, they are very aesthetic. A lot of the work is really done in the kitchen, or in other words, in what you consume, your nutrition. Of course, you can get away with a lot of it when you're in your early 20s,
Yes.
where your metabolism is just so quick and your recovery is so fast. You could do away with just getting fast food and then working out. The ratio changes, maybe 50-50 back then. But then as you age, it's like maybe probably 80%, 80-20 na. No? Maybe 40 upwards. So very important. So in my career, I felt I also had to begin to equally investigate that and explore, go down that rabbit hole. And I was always a person who questioned extremes,
Uh-uh.
extreme things. So whether it's extreme dieting or extreme forms of even exercise. So extremes here, like we only do these exercises, we only work this way. I always begin, it raises questions in my head. Like, are you falling for that as a dogma and just being stubborn just
Yeah.
because of that belief, that, or is it still grounded on actual principles and actual logic that will really benefit? And so when I started to look at the nutrition side, at first my perspective was, don't want to deal with that. Maingay. Just always every day you have vegans and you have carnivores, they're arguing, and then they throw in all the issues about like the feelings of animals, and then they try to guilt you, and they're like, wait, never talking about food. It gets so messy. So I said, I don't want to deal with that. I'm just going to focus on the exercise side of that.
Right.
Then here's the exercise. And then, but I realized, wait, okay, sige, it's time. I can't just ignore this side of it. And so when I look at the extremes, like you mentioned, on the one side, well, it's been there for a long time. Vegan. So the vegan diet's always been there. And then I think as a reaction, eventually there was the carnivore, which
Oo.
which complete opposites lang.
Complete opposite.
Talagang black and white. Yeah. And you have interesting, prominent, like even social media people like Paul Saladino, Dr. Saladino. He
Right.
was carnivore for quite some time. And then he slowly became carnivore 2.0, where he
With
started
fruits.
eating fruits. And then biglang meron ng organ meats. Tapos, ngayon, he dropped carnivore na lang. It's meat-based. Like, it's very rapey.
Animal
When
based.
you look at it now, it's very rapey. He got raw
Yeah.
milk, honey, he's got fruits, and he said he really feels so much better, so lively, everything.
Nice.
And I love biohackers like that who are willing to change their mind and be transparent about it, not double down lang for pride na ba. No, kasi ito eh. they,
Yeah,
they
eh.
actually evolve. They test it.
Self-experimentation. Kasi it's
Yes.
all about experimentation. The tenets of biohacking, self-experimentation, N of one.
And of
So
one.
what's good for you is not good for everyone. What's good for you now is not going to be good for you at 5 years from now, guaranteed. You have to move with your optimization. It's a moving target. So you have to be flexible with that. Otherwise, you're not a biohacker, not at all.
Yes. You're probably just riding on a trend lang.
Or you're just convincing yourself parang it's a confirmation bias ba na everybody, or like the echo chamber na, oh yeah, it's good for them, must be good for me. Makes me payat, so it's good for me. That's the worst argument that I can't stand talaga. Is it makes me thin. That's what, and I'm thin, and because I'm thin, I'm healthy, which is like the worst thing in the world to think. Yes, I used to think that too. And when I was my thinnest, I was the most unhealthy. I felt the most imbalanced. My sleep was terrible.
Wow.
I looked like a skull, and I was always masungit with everyone, and I was always hungry, and you
Confused.
know,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
And you develop this unhealthy relationship with the weighing scale because it's not when if it goes down, you're happy. If it goes up, you're sad automatically. It's always like
Dysmorphia.
down, yes, or up. Oh, what did I do? And you
Yeah.
blame yourself for everything.
Even boys, even men ba are like that? Or is it the baliktad part na parang they want to be heavier, like in terms of muscle mass, they want to be heavier. So if it's goes up, they're happier, but if it goes down, they're not.
In general, you could say, especially like in a gym setting, it's always going to be a compliment when you say, "Oh, you look bigger, natural," no? And then if you say, "Parang pumayat ka," inside it kind of hurts. It's like, "Oh no, 'cause I've been working out for like 4 months now," and but it will also, of course, come from their predispositions in a sense, in a way. Using the word lightly lang. Some are more predisposed to gain a lot of weight. And so for that, yeah, they would appreciate it if their weight went down. I came from a very skinny frame when I was young. I would just eat and eat and eat. I tried to grow and I just couldn't really gain the weight. One reason also was I was a late bloomer in terms of height. So all the way until like grade 6, I was like, just 5 feet or something, front of the line. And yeah. And all of a sudden, first year high school comes in, I grow like a whole head.
Wow, growth spurt.
So you can imagine I was stretched out. I was like this thing.
Okay, got it.
And my sport was football, soccer, and it's a lot of very contact sport. You could body someone talaga. It's not as delicate like basketball kasi contact foul. In football, you could really body someone, and as long as you hide it well, you could get away with it. And so that was a frustration kasi, para akong lampa. I would always fall. And I love the sport so much. And so that led me down to like, I really want to gain more weight, but I want to do this in a healthy way. I wanted muscle, but it's not. So apparently just eating a lot of food wasn't really working. So that led me down the path of finding exercises to really build some muscle eventually. And I was the type now when you say, going back like to the scale of up and down, I try to tell
Yeah.
people it's more than just a number that's going up and down because you can lose weight, but if the weight you lost was muscle mass, we have a problem.
Yeah.
We have a serious health problem because you don't want to be losing muscle mass like that so drastically. And in the same vein, if the weight goes up, silver lining, it could be muscle gain. It isn't the end of the world.
Right.
So we're blind if you're just looking at raw weight.
Yeah. You need a DEXA scan.
Correct. Yeah. Well, Dexter naman very Not everyone has
Meron.
access and saka mahal, no? Um,
Mahal, yeah.
Actually, even just an estimate, like they do bioimpedance. They
Ay,
have
yeah.
even like Xiaomi has those scales where you just step on it, it runs
Yes.
current. It may not be as accurate as the exact percentage, pero at least it gives you a baseline. So you will know then if you went down or up from there. And that's important na kasi you'll see your muscle mass or at least your body fat percentage. And there are ranges. It's different, of course, from male and female. There are ranges to it that you just want to sort of be within. And then you'll notice later on, like your overall weight isn't really the overwhelming factor to determine your happiness or your health level. It's the
Yeah.
ratio of your body fat
Yeah.
to muscle.
But there's also another dimension to weight gain eh. Kasi if you're running a kidney collecting tubules, KCT, water retention, meaning I feel abandoned, I'm isolated, I'm a refugee, and I have an existence conflict, you will retain water. And so this person will feel fat or obese. In fact, most obese children and adults are feeling this way. Now they feel all alone in the world. No one has my back. No one will catch me if I fall. I feel like a fish out of water. Where all of a sudden they're gaining, whoa, 20 pounds, which actually happened to be in 2022. And this person is thirsty but doesn't pee. So the body is retaining as a survival mechanism na parang you're out of the water. So I'm gonna retain water for you. And then their creatinine is mataas. So to provide nutrition. So the protein is mataas to provide nutrition. That's the primal language of survival of the body because it comes from the primordial sea. One of the oldest organs we have is our kidneys. So yun pa rin yung ano niya, survival mechanism niya. So there's that pa. So like if I have cancer clients or who lost weight and then gained, it's a good sign for us, but we also have to see na it's not KCT because KCT is a
All right. Yes, there's so much
conveyor.
more to it than no than the
So much more to it. At the same token, if you resolve that abandonment conflict, boy, you could lose weight just like that, like 20 pounds or something. I think there's someone who lost 42 kilos worth of
what
water weight. I don't know, in a month or something. I don't know. But that wow, that's a
that's
lot of
mind
water.
blowing. Much water, yeah, yeah.
That's a lot of water.
It's like the whole, the 5 gallons that uses. But
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
that's another interesting thing. Speaking of water, actually, we could go a very deep rabbit hole. Like
Talk to me about water.
just to align like water and fascia. What is it? Fascia is something like 80% made up of water bar or something.
Interstitial liquid. Absolutely. And it's conscious water. It's cellular water. Right.
It's not
Yeah.
necessarily you just drink it and then it goes there automatically. There's a whole pathway to it, and several techniques can actually help. That's why myofascial relief.
So I think exclusion zone water, easy water. Fourth phase would be like in between a liquid and a solid. So it's gel like. Gerald Pollack called it the fourth phase of water. That's what I know. Yeah. So you're saying there's a way to manipulate it
Yes.
or
So a lot of like nutrients in the body have to sort of be physically shuttled in. That's why the practice of myofascial release or even self massages, if you understand your body's anatomy more, it becomes more effective because you're essentially really guiding the hydration of your fascia. And the best way to do it is understanding where these lines are, and you want to follow that. And in some cases, it's so deep we can London, if it's in this cavity, of course you can manually just really bring your hand in now with all the internal organs. And that's where you want to get these specific exercises that open up these pathways and that are very consistent with the fascia lines.
coach.
Yes, and so that leads to the exercise selections I make or craft from person to person. That's why when I say Thomas Myers was a big inspiration or influence with my work, it's really that. And I love how he says in his book Anatomy Trains. So I give you the lines of fascia here. It's not yet finished work. We will get more discoveries by in the future. But I give this not as an answer. I give this as a map. This is the map of the human body. You, as a practitioner, it is your responsibility to create paths to help people in their journey. I'm giving you a map to help you. And I love that because it's open. It's an open source.
Oo,
Open
open
source.
open source, yeah.
Yeah,
Oo.
he's not creating like just one book and everyone follow this. This is the only way. And he's giving a map and we can interpret it in different ways with all of the same goal where we want to preserve our bodies as best as we could and sustain it talaga. And
Have you heard of Yamuna? Have you heard of Yamuna ball rolling, which I'm certified in?
yeah.
Did you ever try it? That is fascia work that's deep because she uses balls that like really special balls that you roll on and it rolls on the lines of the fascia. But we follow the muscles. We follow the lines of the muscles. So there's another person who Jerry Tennant who calls the muscles our battery pack. So they take in kinetic energy. In fact, if you cut like steak, 'di ba, that's muscle meat, it will still be moving sometimes. It's
That's
moving.
right.
So there's still signal. So there's a lot of electrical stuff that comes through. So Yamana works on the fascia that goes on the inserts into muscles and then it extends everywhere. So those are the lines that we look at. There's also block therapy.
Love therapy. Yeah.
That block
Right.
therapy. Oo, that's another. And then, how about Human Garage Coach? What do you think about their work?
It's I honestly have to go on a deeper into it now. But from what I see, um it's amazing stuff because he's touching on things. Si Gary, no, si Gary is touching on things that some people might immediately dismiss as parang woo woo already.
Yeah.
Kasi he's like physically like throwing things out.
Yeah.
Like, but coming from like a practitioner's point of view of working with fascia, muscle, and movement, I know he's following. There's a logic to it. You know, he's following a framework, and he's just reached this whole level, this deep level to it. Which I said, this is maybe in that realm of the 70% that we don't know.
Grabe siya.
And the study of fascia, lalo nga, I feel like it's still so open, still so deep,
Sure.
and with just the whole concept of our emotions and trauma stored in that concept alone is so wide. It's so wide. And I think that's where Human Garage comes in exploring that.
With the physical body as a pathway.
He ties it up with breathing and even
Astrology.
astrology makes you say things to manifest certain things.
Affirmations, yeah. I love it. He told me to forgive my mother. He told me, "Forgive your mother because you're Aries daw," parang ganyan. He's so galing. Grabe siya. Iba siya. He made me feel his fascia. Goes, "Feel this, feel this." Sobrang smooth na smooth. Talagang grabe. Walang basta ang lambot na smooth one. I mean, it's like super hydrated tone. There's
No, it's
smooth.
like no, like fresh.
What would you teach your younger self to correct, using functional training? What would you tell your younger self to do in order to correct or improvement?
That's a great question. That's the first time someone has said that.
Oh, okay.
So the question more is like if I were coaching my younger self.
Knowing the movement, not deficits, maybe improvements. Like how would you improve your performance and movement? Knowing yourself from within.
Well, first I would correct my notion back then that as I mentioned, di ba, I grew really tall, really fast. I felt like I was very unstable and I would just always fall. I would just bump me and I feel like I'd topple over. And I felt like my only solution was to gain like more mass,
Right.
get heavier so that I'm not pushed around. To a certain extent, yes, the logic is sound. It's going to be harder to move around a massive object compared to a lighter one. But the first thing I do is correct that notion that that's not the end all be all of it. You can be very stable and grounded even if you're very light. Case in point here is especially in mixed martial arts. In the UFC, one of the legends who's retired now is his moniker. He's the Mighty Mouse. He competes in the very lightweight divisions. So and people who've wrestled with him, have grappled with him, would be, 60, 70 pounds heavier than him. But they're so mind blown because when he gets on top of them, they can't move. It feels like there's a car on them.
Whoa.
And
What's the physics behind that?
it's just mind blowing. He's able to really play around with the environment And this ties in also with how well connected you are with your muscle and fascia. And they're so well coordinated that it can create that feeling. Of course, physically, if you weigh it, I mean, he will still be the same 150-pound person. But to the person, to his opponent on the ground, it just feels like there's a ton on him and he can't move. And of course, that's a whole variety of factors where he's a black belt in jiu-jitsu. He's got various mixed martial arts training. So they really know which areas of the body to pin down, strategically placed. And that's why it's a very cerebral game also. It's not just all brute force and muscle.
Okay.
But yeah, you're playing with the momentum of
Yeah.
it's not you exerting all the force. It's actually
Exactly.
playing with that. Judo, all of that. So that's one idea that I would inject.
Nice.
So you don't need to be so obsessed with the massive side of it. That will come in naturally as you train properly. You don't need to shortcut the system and jump straight to I want to attain that mass, that muscle, and then hopefully tamba na
Right.
lang skills, di ba? Because you can have actually very strong muscular people, but their balance is totally off. Their proprioception is totally off.
Vestibular system is off. Yeah.
Correct. They would stumble, they'd be clumsy, and so I think these are the distinct factors.
Nice.
But the best way is to go through the journey of building those skills, and then you get the muscle, you get the aesthetics along the way as a byproduct of it. I think
Nice.
that's the most sustainable way to go about it. Rather than try to shortcut the system, to try mong ihabol na lang yung skills that you jumped over.
Oo, correct. Oo,
Yeah, kasi
yes.
you also run the risk of creating bad habits, bad movement habits that aren't, that efficient for your sport or for your hobby. So for example, football, you're fast on your legs and most of the time your legs are alternating. Diba? You're alternating
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you're going to kick and you have this full rotation of the upper body that's happening.
Right.
But then you walk in a traditional gym setting and you will see even strength and conditioning coaches still very heavy bias on heavy barbell squats, heavy deadlifts, and then heavy bench press. So much so they call it the big three. It's more of like a
Oh,
dog already that if you don't do these exercises, you're not really strengthening or conditioning yourself, or those are the markers of your athleticism, how heavy you squat, how heavy you bend. And it's easy to be drawn to that because it's there has been established training styles based on that. But I think it plateaus at a certain point. You get some benefits at the start, and then later on, it just becomes a numbers game where you're trying to get heavier and heavier with the squats, not realizing that the risk of the exercise keeps growing for the less and less reward. So the risk ratio reward starts to get this big gap. And you
right.
reach a point where, okay, what else do I do? I make it heavier and heavier, and then your joints can't take it and you're sidelined. So saya. Um, so when you realize movement patterns in the sport, there are exercises that you can craft that specifically help address those patterns, those movement patterns. So for one thing, I say easy transition is since we notice we're always moving from one leg at a time. We're
Yeah.
technically sort of like floating on one leg.
Yes. Yeah.
The logic here would be you might want to spend time training one leg at a time.
Right.
Rather than 90% of your programming is on two legs.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Kangaroos, of course, then that would make perfect sense, diba? If you train that way. So details like that, for me, it really matters. It really matters because it will create the correct reflex patterns also. When you're playing your sport, you don't have time to think, man, which leg, which,
Right.
depends on how much you've practiced that they come in instantaneously and your training will be reflected there. So at least those two things, I would say. Your body is capable of so much more. And there are specific exercises that we could craft to get those
Yeah.
movements more efficient. And that's really going to improve your game and physique and long term health in terms
Yeah.
of our joint loading also. And the exposure to, I think, a very important thing when it comes to functional training is the exposure to different force vectors. So
Right.
for example, behind me here is a cable machine. So you add some weight and then there's a cable that you pull.
Yeah.
You'll notice that the force is horizontal.
Yeah.
We're sort of playing with physics here. Whereas if I pick up a dumbbell, the force will always be vertical. You pick up something, it will always try to drop you. So even if
Yeah.
you're trying to put it in the context of, let's say, boxing, you do something like this, you're not necessarily training the force horizontally because it's
Right.
constantly trying to drop you, drop you, drop you, drop you.
Right.
Like your shoulder work here, just sustain it up here.
Yeah.
Suddenly a whole world of difference.
So the cable is better for the boxer because of the horizontal plane.
Yes.
Uh-uh.
But now when you translate it to
See.
horizontal motion, I'm not worrying about this would fall down.
Right.
It's all resistance from behind.
And the correct muscles are being activated, the small muscles in between. Those are the ones that are activating. And the fascia is also the moving.
Of course, you can't do this in a vacuum. Your legs have to plant themselves.
Yeah.
That's handling the ground forces. So now you get this training where you're sort of being pulled back, but you have to resist it, and your feet will tend to react a certain way because we don't want to fall back. So I'm gonna try to stay upright, which you won't necessarily get. You have this here. No force
Yeah.
pulling me back. It's just down. So my feet are just idle.
Oh yeah. Right.
But that's another.
Gosh.
You notice I'm barefoot. Everyone
Yes.
to me we're barefoot. See, we want to restore the tactile feedback of our feet. Almost as if like these are our feet. The way
Right.
we would feel things with our hands, we want our feet that sensitive again. So they understand the terrain. They can help, you know, react much better when you move around. So here it's always barefoot training. First thing you do, come here and say, please take off your shoes barefoot. Yeah. And that leads me to this interesting design of the body. You'll notice this is like our feet. Yeah.
Yeah.
So these are our toes. And the
Right.
palm will be our plantar fascia. Then you go up here, this is our ankle.
Yeah.
You go further, this is our knee. It's a hinge joint.
Right.
This is our knee. We can go even further to the shoulder. Now it's not a hinge joint.
Pelvis.
Pelvis, your hip.
Oh, interesting.
We can even go a notch further. If we go
Okay.
to our
Iliac.
chest. Now,
Chest.
one of the functions of the pectoral muscles, the chest, is
Yeah.
to make your humerus, or think about just the elbow close
Yeah.
and
To adduct. Uh-oh.
adapt. Yes. And even to flex, shoulder flexion, they split, which is very normal for us, arm swing.
Right. Right.
So you have the pectorals helping with that shoulder flexion there.
Yeah.
If you look at the bottom here, that is our glute.
Ah, yeah.
So the chest is the glutes of the upper body.
Ang galing. Oh my golly.
The orientation is like this. Our arm folds this way.
Oh yeah. Oh my golly. But it does look like a big butt, like a wide big butt.
They operate like
Brilliant.
that. You look at even it's in the name. Then this is your bicep, and the scientific name of your hamstring is actually biceps femoris, bicep of the femur. So we have a bicep and a bicep. You have a tricep and a quadricep. You just added one more head here. Direction wise, function wise, joint wise, it lines up in this really nice, intricate.
Oh my gosh. I have a totally different self-image now. I mean, dang, galing ng katawan.
So when
Even
you
more did you come up with that or is that part of your training with with Thomas Myers?
it's bits and pieces. I wouldn't say it's an original thought, but it's really bits and pieces, and then it's working on it, and then experiencing it. Like I don't know. And I recall one time when I started to piece things together, um, with 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 fascia and understanding contralateral movements. And it was, the idea was at the back of my head. Okay, the pectorals are the glutes of the upper body. Interesting. But alam mong, until you actually use it or test it that way, it's still gonna be a floating thought. But it really sank in when I decided to work on sprinting mechanics. So sprinting And a lot of practitioners will say that sprinting is the complete exercise for the human body because it's the complete expression. Like all the
Ah,
muscles are really firing up to
right.
break it down in pieces. It's just
Yeah.
that normally we think of it's a leg exercise, but there's so much activity happening in the upper body, especially if you dissect mga videos of Usain Bolt, fastest man
Right.
alive, diba? You will see things like his arm goes all the way up to like a 90-degree angle here.
Wow.
And then you see like a scooping motion. And then you see his biceps really tighten up. His chest will go here. And so I
Wow.
try to, as much as possible, to work on myself and then test it. So I hadn't sprinted in a long time. So I was sure there would be muscle sore the next day. But true enough, the next day, I was happy because I felt, oh, that's great. Soreness in the glutes, hamstring. This is a great development because before I would feel like maybe more on the quads and the knees. But now it's good kasi parang, wow, I was using that
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Which if you didn't have, you wouldn't have as much torque, maybe.
correct. Because people
Have
tend
that.
to think like you're just pushing yourself.
Right.
Or like you're
Right.
pulling yourself, actually, pulling the floor behind you.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
where the hamstrings come in. And then the most interesting part was my chest was sore. I
Wow.
didn't do any push-ups, bench press, flies,
You used it.
sprints. So I realized I was really working on that rotation and everything went up. Now this whole thing stretches,
Right.
closes in.
Wow.
And so it's like that chest exercise. You go fly. It's all in that motion, this graceful rhythm of
Well,
it.
I love it.
And the more you unlock, the more you get your muscle and your fascia in tune, it just unlocks more
Wow.
movement. And
Yeah.
they realize, wow, that was in there all this time. I just wasn't seeing it.
Yeah, we did activate it. Oh my golly, we have so much superpower. Coach, what about Michael Phelps?
Wow. Michael Phelps is interesting because he actually has Marfan syndrome. Did you
Which
know?
makes it bigger hands or something like that? Bigger fingers or
And the joints are slowly separating actually.
talaga?
That's why he has to be checked up like every 6 months or so. That's why his arms are so long.
Yeah, super.
Beyond his like on his glutes, his wingspan is really wide.
Yeah.
He's the type who was able to not just overcome that condition, but use it to his
Use it.
advantage.
Wow. That brings me to like it's like an evolution that we didn't think of. We think it's a deficit, but
Yes.
might serve other purposes. My gosh, the human being, we're just unlimited. That's the reason I call my center unlimited. Kasi talaga totoo naman eh, di ba? It's like the sky's the limit.
We shouldn't limit ourselves to thinking, oh, we know everything, established na lahat. We have to
Exactly.
be open. That's really part of living and evolving also. In fact, even there's a tribe, the Bajau tribe, they they
And have
measure
bigger
speed,
spleens.
bigger speed,
Yeah.
because as babies, they're already like holding their breath underwater.
Yes. Desert people have more sweat glands. It's absolutely, we have to adapt to the environment.
Like,
It's also an adaptation. All of it is adaptation for survival. Amazing. We're
amazing.
so amazing. And coach, you just blew my mind. But another thing that I know about coach, and I know I'm keeping you so long, I'm so sorry, but you're so fascinating. Also, coach is so successful with scoliosis. Coach,
Yes,
tell us
yes.
about that, please.
Oh, okay. So scoliosis is a condition of the spine. Just for those not fully aware. It's a condition of the spine where there is a bend or rotation. Let me get a model here. Yes. This is our spine. Okay. Normally we have these curves. So scoliosis usually would present with someone who has a bend like this and returns there. They try to just go back. This might surprise a lot, but it affects 3% of the world population. Quite a lot. So Philippine context, 3 million Filipinos with
Yeah.
scoliosis. And when we talk about scoliosis, 3%, these are the ones that are, officially diagnosed. And this is in the category of moderate to severe scoliosis, which means when they compute the curve, they have a certain computation called the cup angle. You're within 15 degrees and higher. So normally yung mga below 10 degrees, they don't really consider it even as scoliosis. So my estimates are if you include even those with mild, you'd probably jump into maybe 30% or so.
Yeah,
Uh,
likely. But yeah,
I don't
I
think the
think I have it.
spine is perfectly straight even. Yeah. So
Right.
it's a very big mystery because up to this date, it's already 2025. It's still largely idiopathic, and as they say,
We have a theory though. Yeah, okay,
many
idiopathic.
theories nga, oo. Pero that is like the official, di ba, textbook of it. It's
Yeah,
labeled as idiopathic, which
right,
honestly, personally, I don't like the term because again, you close the door. You just
right.
say, you just say literally, I'm an idiot. I don't know the path. So we close the door. It's idiopathic.
Kung ano,
We need to be open and try to explore, di ba, what we can still do and what are the possible root causes.
yeah. For us, coach, it's because it's bones, it's self-evaluation. So the spine, it's a central personality. It's a central self-evaluation. I'm not a good person. If it's lower than that, it's my core personality. If it happens in childhood, that means then there was a self-evaluation experience either by the baby or the mom. While pregnant, the baby experienced the mom's self-evaluation or the baby felt it. And during the weeks when the new mesoderm would grow, would be maybe week 9 or something, there is an impediment in its development. And so yeah, but
Wow.
it's literally not having a backbone.
Yeah, yeah, actually. I'll,
Diba?
I'll try to pull up more stats, but it might interest you din, no? Uh,
Yeah,
it turns out females have a higher propensity for
right.
scoliosis, and they have a certain pattern. It's dextroscoliosis of the thoracic spine, meaning the curve is pushed towards your right side. I'm not sure how that will line up now in GH, but I'm sure you'll piece something there.
Oh, interesting. Mother child, if ever they're right-handed towards the right side. So parang mother issues.
So the spine is pushed there. So if you think of like a curve, like that
Uh-uh.
man curve, so the tendency the left side is a little
The left. So the left is the deficient one, diba?
so it's compressed here and tight, and then they're pushed here. And then if they bend down like this, you will see this right side of their rib up, like that.
Oh,
Up.
serious?
Yeah. So there's a
Wow.
rib up, as they call it. Those are the more common patterns that we see. Of
Wow.
course, there will be deviations, but the larger majority is like that.
Mother issues.
The most interesting, one of the more interesting cases I've held was brother and sister. The dad contacted me. He said, "Is there anything we can do for my two kids?" My daughter sometimes she was 16, going 17, and then her younger brother was 14. So, and they both had scoliosis. And the interesting was their curves were mirrors. So, si girl had what I was saying, dextro. Si boy had levo, scoliosis, pushed to the left. If you put them side by side, it's like they form the heart.
Interesting. The boy was to the left.
Boy was
The
pushed to the
boy to
left.
the left. Right.
Girl pushed to the right.
Interesting. I would look at the parents. I mean, I would look at the
Yes, yes.
wow.
So that's in a sense there are many questions it brings about. And here's something, this is a bit thought provoking, and I'm sure for most it might be controversial. One of my mentors, his name is John Haddad from Lebanon. He's one of my mentors that I could, you know, throw ideas around with. And then it's very collaborative in a sense. And I think one of his biggest support for me was he allowed me to be really creative with my work. He wasn't the type like, you gotta do it my way or just
Right.
this. He allowed me like to give me license to like flourish. Go play around with that. Okay, that's interesting. And one of his investigations into scoliosis, because he said there's just so many, like we actually need more personal trainers, a little more educated on it and how to manage it, because we won't run out of people with scoliosis. We need more help actually. And in one of his investigations, he found out that in the side insert of a polio vaccine, it literally says as a possible side effect, scoliosis. And it's really listed there. But the problem is we never really see these side inserts
Yeah.
for vaccines. And he said, there's actually a side of science that established it there. And, it took something to publish it as a possible side effect. And everyone I know has had the polio vaccine. It's a standard growing up.
Yeah. The
Because,
air vaccine. Yeah.
yes. And he said, if it boils down to polio or scoliosis, then of course I would choose the scoliosis. Success. I don't know. I'm not trying to bog down on the vaccine here or what. I'm just laying out the facts. It's on the side insert, and it makes sense. So many people were inoculated with it, and it's a specific program affecting the spine and the bones. The logic kind of needs, no?
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
it's not like one angle to it. But I think it's like multi-angled about many things. And it's if that's the case, kasi that means everyone should have scoliosis naman. That could also be an argument.
Yeah. So it's like the 100% rule also in GHK. Like
Yeah.
polio, we really don't believe that. I mean, it's psyche activated. It's a
There.
self-evaluation.
Of that. So if you run on that line and it's psyche activated, but the fear led us to create a concoction that you have to inject in the baby.
Yeah.
We address something in the bones. Now maybe
Yeah.
then you can cause a complication down the line. But again, I think what's important is these questions are out there. It's
Yeah.
discussed.
Yeah.
It's not
It's
just
like if you
covered.
yeah, parang we're opening it to discussion and possibilities. Like, kasi polio also, they said it was eradicated by the vaccine. So therefore the vaccine was very successful. Yay. But actually polio was remarketed or relabeled as other diseases. For example, Guillain-Barré syndrome, GBS, and also cerebral palsy, CP in children, where it's the same thing. It's a motor conflict, and I can't move, or no, it's too soft, or it's too malambot. It doesn't solidify. Parang ganyan.
Yes, yes.
So yeah, it was kind of manipulated that way. So we can't really know. I mean, the main thing is like the psyche of the person must have already been affected. There was a sensitivity to a self-evaluation for whatever reason, and yun kasi yung variable eh. Kasi otherwise, if it were true that it caused it, then everybody should have it. It's 100% rule. The same argument I have with the vaccine, the recent vaccine na parang, well, it's not everybody out of the millions who have gotten cancer or whatever, then we can't really, it's a slippery slope to blame it on that. So parang it's good to talk about it then. But at the same token, what if it has cellular thought programs in the thing that,
Especially RNA. Yeah, it goes
diba,
for kids. I think
that
it's
could make your psyche
for sure.
sensitive.
And it's healthy we have these conversations rather than complete censorship.
Yeah.
Like they would just say, "Oh, you're such an anti-vaxxer." That's nonsense. For me, look, that's not a healthy way to approach actual dialogue where we're trying to be problem solvers. There's no point just labeling each other.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I really feel that's how we should um, really approach science, like keeping it open, but then asking the questions. I'm not a big fan of the term the science is established. The science is settled. I don't think it really ever is always settled to a certain extent, maybe, but there is always an angle that we will find that
Yeah.
can improve things even further. Um,
Especially with the vaccines. I mean, especially that. I mean, GHK pa lang, it's like, there's no such thing as a virus. So what for, diba? But people find solace in it, and that is their medicine. So go for it, diba? To each his own. You're sovereign. So yeah, go for it.
in a sense, you
Um,
can look at it from biohacking perspective lang, diba? N of one.
yeah. And of one, bio-individuality.
Yes.
Oo. Correct. Yeah. So parang live and let live. But just don't force it on me. That's all. Just don't force it on anyone who doesn't want it. So make it diba, make everybody sovereign and free to choose. That's all. That's all. Yeah. So what do you do to balance a scoliosis?
So I approach it from when we talked about biomechanics and the design of the body.
Yes.
It's interesting. I'll tie this up with athletic training.
Okay.
I didn't start my career in fitness on scoliosis again. You asked me 10 years ago, I would have never known I would be handling scoliosis every week. I was very much into athletic training. I'd like to explore different types of martial arts. For the training, I did like a buffet of different martial arts but never really competed.
Like what, coach? Like what?
Yani, I spent 2 years taking wushu. Actually. Yes, and I had to perform even in Binondo because the Wushu Federation is there to get my Ilu level. So there's Ilu, Erlu, Sanlu. And yeah, I was at the point where if I pushed through within like 6 more months, they would he would ask me to choose which weapon already, like a quarter staff or and
Ooh.
I remember we were watching videos of Jet Li in his teens
Yeah.
performing exactly the same routines we were doing. And we were like, yeah, kilig na kilig because it was Jet Li doing that. Um,
Love it.
so yeah, I did, I dabbled with Wushu, and then in college, for my PE, I would choose different things. I did a semester of Arnis.
Nice.
I don't know if my teacher still remembers, teacher si Guro Ialogo, really cool guy. And then Taekwondo. I was in Taekwondo there.
I'm a black belt. Who's your ano, coach?
No, this was for college la, so a semester.
College. Okay, okay.
Yeah,
Okay, okay.
I just got a yellow belt, ganun. Lang
Okay.
dikim. Yeah, and then in the summer, I took a 2 summers of American kickboxing. It's really kickboxing, but different rule set lang. Yeah,
Okay.
rule set. Kasi there's kickboxing where no kicks to the face, just body,
Um,
and then there's Muay Thai, of course, where
oh
you use
god.
elbow. And then for high school, our batch, for some reason, we were obsessed with Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. Like lunch break, we would eat like 10 minutes lang. And then we run to our room, lock the door. We would form the chairs like an octagon. And UFC was just starting then. It was literally UFC 1. Now it's like UFC 355 or something long ago. So we make an octagon, and then we just remove our polo. And then on the marble floor, we would kneel. And then we had a few guys in our batch who were advanced. They took lessons. Blue, eventually blue belt, purple, brown, and then black. And then we would just review tapes, mga VHS,
Oh.
the Gracies. Yeah. So we kind of pride ourselves in that. At least a big majority of our batch, we weren't just 50 in our batch, at least in our section. So the whole 25, pretty much almost everyone there knew how to, they pretty much everyone knew how to do like a guillotine choke, a triangle choke, an armbar, kimura, key lock. We at least got the basics on submitting someone. Just like self-taught, guided by VHS.
Guided by VHS. Ang galing, 90s VHS. You know
Yeah.
what, Coach, ano, Moshe Feldenkrais, he wrote a book on Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He was into martial arts, and he's also judo, like the first non-Japanese judo certified instructor or something like that. So he was really into biomechanics, also into movement, the use of the laws of physics and gravity and the body that move through the forces that move through the body, and the use. Martial arts is such a great pathway.
Yeah, there's so
Yeah.
much you can extract from it. And if you have a
Yeah.
very curious mind, then you break it down. That's when you can really, take a step back and see the biomechanics behind it. Because
Yeah.
for most, it's an art, a martial art. It's culture.
Right.
So they can't really explain it in a scientific method. They pass it down through tradition, and they're just really good at it, but not necessarily good at explaining it or breaking it down. And that gives it this whole nice, there's like a mystic feel to it, even. Parang,
Yeah. Because it's
wow,
spiritual eh.
yeah, they're channeling something here.
The
And
chi and all.
it's
Yeah.
on Wushu, the cousin is Tai Chi. Tai Chi is like the slower version of Wushu. Shout out to my Lauscher Gary Kua if he's listening, but thank you.
Your Tai Chi teacher.
My Wushu
Oh, your
teacher.
Wushu teacher. Wushu teacher.
Yeah, I recently connected with him through Facebook. So very interesting.
I have a client who was in Wushu also, who also competed when she was very young.
Wow.
I didn't even know we had Wushu here. But anyway, galing.
You're doing very well. Yeah, like we get gold medals, SEA Games, all of that. Yeah, very, very disciplined. And they're just flying all over. It's like, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon,
Yeah.
of Wushu,
That's Wushu?
all over.
That's Wushu? That style? Look at Michelle Yeoh was and ano?
Yes,
The-
Imubai, Chow Yun Fat, and Zhangzi. Yes, yes.
Oh my God. Ang ganda. It's like a dance.
It's like, yeah. And when they perform, it's choreographed, sword fighting and all of that. And they're literally like flying. It's,
As in, flying talaga.
of course, a movie in exaggeration.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
In real life, we're like, wow. Like,
Serious? They're flying? Oh my God.
yeah.
There's
And they're all
something about-
very slim, slender. And then our uniform is like very silky. So you
Uh,
flow.
there's a sound also that goes with it.
It's very Bruce Lee's famous quote, be water, my friend. So you're really flowing like water, but then you can also like crash from
Right.
flows again. It's so graceful and at the same time, it's very strong.
Very strong. Ano, parang specimen of what you're saying na parang just the right amount of muscles, but a lot of it is also grace and flow. It's like the physique of Bruce Lee. Because he's not huge, but he's strong. But he's also so fluid and so just so aware of the environment as well. He's always in the flow, also alpha theta, right? Like you have to be in that alpha theta flow state.
And imagine at that time, the conversation on the fascia wasn't even
Yeah.
mainstream or anything. And who knows, maybe Bruce Lee himself didn't even,
Yeah.
verbalize it, but his body expressed it just naturally.
Yeah.
And when you look at it from the lens now of the fascia framework, you begin to like get all these ideas. So that's how he did this and that. And in fact, his quote of "Be water," my friend, was so inspiring to me when and then came across. I think this was in Anatomy Trains, like even in the foreword, he talks about one function of fascia where it's basically non-Newtonian form. It looks like it's liquid, but when there's impact, it's so strong. And his
Right.
his example was baseball. With the speed of a picture nowadays, that object is running at you for more than 100 miles per hour. If you're not aware and it hits your head, you'll literally die.
Yeah.
How strong we can, much force our body can create. And he asked the question, then how is it that they don't injure their hands when they catch it? Yes, they have a glove, but at most the glove is leather, a little padding, but that's repeated impact.
Oh, yeah,
Diba?
yeah.
He said, when our body is aware, our fascia is aware, it acts with the same properties as a non-Newtonian fluid, where it's soft, but there's impact, it's able to instantaneously absorb that impact. And then for generation distributes the body.
Right. Exactly.
And
Wow.
like, wow. And
Oh,
so when
no,
Bruce Lee says
okay.
like water, suddenly there's a deeper meaning to it. I don't know if he intended that, but your
Oh
fashion
my.
is like this water thing, diba? Fourth phase.
Yeah.
It flows, but
Oo.
it can be so powerful, so strong when you need it.
Yeah. That's what they said, coach. It's like when let's say, your daughter got stuck under a car, your fascia will literally harden. It give you superhuman strength to lift that car off your daughter. It's the fascia also. So it's intelligent. It's an organ of form of intelligence as well. Brilliant. I really think it's oh,
I think like diba, we've all been underestimating fascia for so long.
yeah.
And it's, we're just scratching the surface here, really.
We are. You are like the third person I think I've talked about fascia. The conversation is always about fascia. If I talk to Veda Austin, it's about fascia. If I talk to Catherine Clinton, she's all about fascia and the quantum negentropy and all of that. It's all about fascia. Human garage is fascia. You, it's fascia. Lahat. It's like the ano. It's like the secret.
Yes, yes, yes.
Secret weapon natin.
It's this little map, diba, that's we're just decoding it in a sense. And that's what led me to like and opened the possibility for me about scoliosis.
Yeah.
For the longest time, it was shut down as number one, it's idiopathic. We don't know the source. And number two, it's structural. Therefore, the only way to fix it is surgery. We have to open your back. We have to stick a titanium rod and screw it and then guide it and close you up. And then I realized it's not a one time thing. For most, they have to open you up again in 6 months to a year because they have to adjust the screws again and then close you up again. You have to recover again, and it's a very brutal way to address it. And when you have that metal rod there, you lose the full mobility of your
Yeah.
spine. There's a lot of trade offs. Or I mean, at some point you might ask, for all this cost, what was the reward we were looking for?
Yeah.
Was it just a visual straighter body, but now you can't move so well, or was the pain so bad that tama naman you needed some intervention, but then again it opens you up to more risk.
Yeah.
Because it's a major surgery, and not to mention the cost. Again, it's so expensive.
Also.
Before, people had to really fly out. Even now, actually, people still really need to fly out just to get the surgery.
And danger of human error as well. Like one nerve cut, that's it.
Exactly. That's fine. Diba? Your
So much
spine
risk.
all too much. And I mean, of course, for me, hands down to all the surgeons out there, they're really doing a great job. Anything emergency, anything, we really need,
Absolutely.
we really
I
need surgeons out there.
I love
Um,
Grey's Anatomy.
diba? So anything like or a more recent sa K-drama yung Trauma Code. Yeah, I love that show. um it's or the one my parents like yung Doctor Romantic.
Sure.
It's on ER trauma.
Yes, The Pit. I like The Pit. I
I
mean,
haven't seen that one. The
oh, it's
Pit.
good. It's good. I like it.
But that's the thing now. We had to get their help na ano magagawa natin kaya with scoliosis? And that's what they know how to do. But then it doesn't really fit that aspect of emergency trauma, need that drastic opening up and everything. Now you're faced with this condition that's been present in their teen years. They carried it over for a decade or so. But then the approach is drastic and open. So I really felt, I mean, is this the way? There must be other styles. And so I read more into it, and you will have actually a lot of therapists and styles and methodologies that are actually trying to address it. Especially one various, and it's really listed there. But the problem is we never really see these side inserts
Yeah.
for vaccines. And he said, you know, they there's actually a side of science that established it there, and you know, it took something to publish it as a possible side effect. And everyone I know has had the polio vaccine. It's a standard growing up.
Yeah.
Because
the air vaccine. Yeah.
yes, and he said, you know, if it boils down to polio or scoliosis, then of course I would choose the scoliosis na lang, diba? So he says, I don't know, you know, I'm not trying to bog down on the vaccine here or what. I'm just laying out the facts. It's on the side insert, and it makes sense. So many people were inoculated with it, and it's a specific program affecting the spine and the bones. The logic kind of meets, and so that is like one angle to it. But I think it's like multi-angled, many things. It's if that's the case, kasi that means everyone should have scoliosis. That could also be an argument.
So it's
Yeah.
like the 100% rule also in GHK. Like
yeah.
polio, we really don't believe that. I mean, it's psyche activated. It's
There.
self-evaluation.
And then you have that. So if you run on that line and it's diba, it's psyche activated, but the fear led us to create a concoction that you have to inject in the baby.
Yeah.
Quickly address something in the bones. Maybe you didn't bala, then you can cause a complication down the line. But again, I think what's important is these questions are out there. It's discussed.
Yeah.
It's not just shut down and
If you
covered.
Yeah, parang we're opening it to discussion and possibilities. Like, kasi polio also, parang they said it was eradicated by the vaccine, so therefore the vaccine was very successful. Yay! But actually, polio was remarketed or relabeled as other diseases. For example, Guillain-Barré syndrome (GBS) and also cerebral palsy (CP) in children, where it's the same thing. It's a motor conflict, and I can't move, or no, it's too soft, or it's too malambot. It doesn't solidify. Parang ganyan. So
yes.
so yeah, it was kind of manipulated that way. So we can't really know. I mean, the main thing is like the psyche of the person must have already been affected. There was a sensitivity to a self-evaluation for whatever reason. And yun kasi yung variable kasi otherwise, if it were true that it caused it, then everybody should have it. It's 100% rule. The same argument I have with the vaccine, the recent vaccine, na parang, well, it's not everybody out of the millions, then, who have gotten cancer or whatever, then we can't really, it's a slippery slope to blame it on that. So parang it's good to talk about it then. But at the same token, what if it has cellular thought programs in the thing that,
especially if it's mRNA, diba? Yeah, it goes deeper and deeper. Yes. I think
that could make your psyche sensitive.
And it's healthy we have these conversations rather than complete censorship. Diba?
Yeah.
Like they would just say, oh, you're such an anti-vaxxer. That's nonsense. For me, look, that's not a healthy way to approach an actual dialogue where we're trying to be problem solvers. There's no point just labeling each other like that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I really feel that's how we should really approach science, na keeping it open, but then asking the questions.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of the term the science is established, yeah, or
Oo.
the science is settled. I don't think it really ever is always settled to a
Yeah.
certain extent, maybe, but there is always an angle that we will find that
Yeah.
can improve things even further. Um,
Especially with the vaccines. I mean, especially that.
yeah,
I mean, GHK pa lang, it's like, we don't, there's no such thing as a virus. So what for, diba?
yes.
But people find solace in it, and that is their medicine. So go for it, diba? To each his own. You're sovereign. So yeah, go for it.
In a sense, you
Um,
can look at it from biohacking perspective lang, di ba? N of one.
yeah. End of
One.
one,
And
bio-individuality.
yes,
Oo.
right.
Correct. Yeah. So parang live and let live, 'di ba? But just don't force it on me. That's all. Just don't
Correct,
force it on
correct.
anyone who doesn't want it. So make it ano, 'di ba? Make everybody sovereign and free to choose. That's all.
That's
That's all we
that's true. Yes, yes,
uh
sure.
yeah. So what do you do to balance a scoliosis?
So I approach it from when we talked about biomechanics and the design of the body. It's interesting. I'll tie this up with athletic training.
Okay.
I didn't start my career in fitness on scoliosis. In fact, you asked me 10 years ago, I would have never known I would be handling scoliosis every week. I was very much into athletic training. I'd like to explore different types of martial arts for the training. I did like a buffet of different martial arts, but never really competed. Um,
Like what, coach? Like what?
Really, I spent 2 years taking wushu, actually. Um,
Wow.
yes, and I had to perform even in Binondo because the Wushu Federation is there to get my Ilu level. So there's Ilu, Erlu, Sanlu. Um, and yeah, I was at the point where if I push through with it like 6 more months, they would ask me to choose which weapon already, like a quarter staff or you know. And
Cool.
I remember we were watching videos of Jet Li in his teens
Yeah.
performing exactly the same routines we were doing, and we were like the remembers teacher Asi there.
I'm a black belt. Who's your ano coach?
No, this was for
Who's your
college lang,
sensei?
so a
Ah,
semester.
college. Okay, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Ah, okay, okay.
So I just got a yellow belt, ganun. Lang
Okay.
dikim. Yeah, and then in the summer, I took a I think 2 summers of American kickboxing. And then for high school, like
Is that
lunch break.
like is that like Taibo?
No, 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 no.
Or kickboxing Taibo.
Yeah, Taiwan aerobic lang. It's really kickboxing, but different rule set lang. Yeah,
Okay.
different rule set. Kasi there's kickboxing where uh, no kicks to the face, just body, and then
Um,
rule sets lang, pero kickboxing pa din. Yeah.
okay.
And then there's Muay Thai, of course, where you use
Oh
you use
God.
elbows and then for high school, our batch for some reason we were obsessed with Brazilian Jiu Jitsu.
Oh my
Uh,
God.
like lunch break, we would eat like 10 minutes lang, and then we run to our room, lock the door. We would form the chairs like an octagon, and UFC was just starting then. It was literally UFC one. Now it's like UFC 355 or something. And
Oh my
that long ago. So we make an octagon, and then we just remove our polo. And then on the marble floor, we would kneel, and then we had a few guys in our batch who were advanced. They took lessons. Eventually, nag blue belt, purple, brown, and then black. And then we would just review tapes, VHS, from
Oh.
the Gracies. So we kind of pride ourselves in that at least a big majority of our batch, we were just 50 in our batch, at least in our section, the whole 25. Pretty much almost everyone there knew how to, they, pretty much everyone knew how to do like a guillotine choke, a triangle choke, an armbar, kimura, a key lock. So we at least got the basics on submitting someone. Just like self-taught, guided by VHS.
Guided by VHS. Ang galing. 90s. Wala na nga VHS. You know
Yeah,
what, Coach? Ano, Moshe Feldenkrais, he wrote a book on Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
oh
He was
wow.
into martial arts, and he's also judo, like the first non-Japanese judo certified instructor or something like that. So he was really into biomechanics, also into movement, the use of the laws of physics and gravity and the body that move through the forces that move through the body, and the use martial arts is such a great pathway.
Yeah, there's so
Yeah,
much you can extract from it. And if you have a
yeah,
very curious mind, then you break it down. That's when you can really, take a step back and see the biomechanics behind it. Because
yeah.
for most, it's an art, a martial art. It's culture.
Right.
So they can't really explain it in a scientific method. They pass it down through tradition and they're just really good at it, but not necessarily good at explaining it or breaking it down. And that gives it this whole nice, there's like a mystic feel to it, Ivan. Parang,
Yeah, because it's
wow,
spiritual, eh?
yeah, they're channeling something here.
The chi
And
and all.
correct.
Yeah.
So with wushu, the cousin is tai chi. Tai chi is like the slower version of wushu.
Wow.
Shout out to my Lauscher Gary Kua if he's listening, but thank you.
Your Tai Chi teacher.
My wushu
Oh, your
teacher.
Wushu teacher. Wushu teacher.
Yeah, I recently connected with him through Facebook, so very interesting.
I have a
Uh,
client who was in Wushu also, who also competed when she was very young.
oh wow,
I
wow.
didn't even know we had Wushu here, but anyway,
we're,
galing.
we're doing very well. Yeah, like we get gold medals, SEA
Wow.
Games, all of that. Yeah, very, very disciplined. And they're just flying all over. It's like, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
much wushu
That's
happening
Wushu?
all over. Yes,
That's Wushu? That style?
that
Like
style.
what Michelle Yeoh was, and ano?
Yes, Imubai. Yeah, yeah. Chow Yun Fat and Changzi. Yes, yes.
Oh my God, ang
Oh,
ganda. It's like a
all
dance.
yeah. And when they perform, it's choreographed on sword fighting and all of that. And they're
Yeah.
literally like flying. it's
As in, flying
yeah.
talaga.
Of course a movie in Exage, but
Oh, yeah, yeah.
in real life, we're like, wow. like,
Serious? They're flying? Oh my God,
yeah.
there's still
And
something about that.
they're all very slim, slender, and then our uniform is like very silky. So you
Oh,
really feel the flow.
there's a sound also that goes with it. With
Yeah, it's very Bruce Lee's famous quote, be water, be water, my
Mm.
friend. So you're really flowing like water, but then it can also like crash, be strong, and then
Right.
it flows again. It's so
Yeah.
graceful and at the same time it's very strong.
Very
Uh,
strong. Yeah. And
strong.
that's a great parang specimen of what you're saying, na parang just the right amount of muscles, but a lot of it is also grace and flow. It's like the physique of Bruce Lee, because he's
Yes,
not huge, but he's strong. But
yes,
he's
yes.
also so fluid and so aware of the environment as well. Na
Correct,
parang
correct.
he's always in the flow, also alpha theta, right? Like she said,
Yes.
Mihai, you have to be in that alpha theta flow state.
And, and imagine at that time, the conversation on fascia wasn't even
Yeah.
mainstream or anything. And who knows, maybe Bruce Lee himself didn't even,
Yeah.
verbalize it, but his body expressed it just naturally.
Yeah.
And when you look at it from the lens now of the fascia framework,
Yeah.
you begin to like get all these ideas. Like, so that's how he did this and that. And in fact, his quote of "Be water, my friend" was so inspiring to me and I came across. I think this was in Anatomy Trains, like even in the foreword. He talks about one function of fascia where it's basically non-Newtonian um, form. But it looks like it's liquid, but when there's impact, it's so strong. And his
Right.
and his example was baseball. With the speed of a pitcher nowadays, that object is running at you for more than 100 miles per hour. If you're not aware and it hits your head, you'll literally die.
Yeah.
How strong how much force our body can create. And he asked the question, then how is it that they don't injure their hands when they catch it?
Yeah.
Yes, they have a glove, but at most the glove is leather, a little padding, but that's repeated impact.
Oh. Yeah,
Diba?
yeah.
He said, when our body is aware, our fascia is aware, it acts with the same properties as a non-Newtonian fluid, where it's soft, but when there's impact, it's able to instantaneously absorb that impact. And then
Right.
force generation distributes the body.
Right. Exactly.
And
Wow.
like wow. And so
Kulit
when
na
Bruce
kulit
Lee
eh.
says like water, suddenly there's a deeper meaning to it. I don't know if he intended that, but your
Oh
fascia
my.
is like this water thing, diba? Fourth phase.
Yeah.
It flows, but it
Oo.
can be so powerful, so strong when you need it. Um,
Yeah, that's what they said, coach. It's like when let's say your daughter got stuck under a car, your
yes.
fascia will literally harden. It give you superhuman strength
Uh,
to lift that car off your daughter. It's the
yeah.
fascia also. So it's
Also,
intelligent. It's an organ of form of intelligence as well. It's
super.
so brilliant. I really think it's
I think like
it
diba, we've all been underestimating fascia for so long. We're
my
just
God.
scratching the surface here,
We
really.
are. You are like the third person I think I've talked about fascia. Oh, the conversation is always about fascia. If I talk to Veda Austin, it's about fascia. If I talk to Catherine Clinton, she's all about fascia and the quantum negentropy and all of that. It's all about fascia. Human Garage is fascia. You, it's fascia. Lahat. It's like the it's like the secret, diba?
Yes, yes, yes.
Secret weapon na.
It's this
Ah,
built-in map, diba, that's we're just decoding it in a sense.
yeah.
And that's what led me to like it opened the possibility for me about scoliosis.
Yeah.
For the longest time, it was shut down as number one, it's idiopathic, we don't know the source. And number two, it's structural. Therefore, the only way to fix it is surgery. We have to open your back, we have to stick a titanium rod and screw it,
Right.
and then guide it and close you up. And then I
Right.
realized it's not a one-time thing. For most, they have to open you up again in 6 months to a year because they have to
Yes.
adjust the screws again and then close you up again.
Right.
And then you have to recover again, and it's a very brutal way to address it. And when you
Yes.
have that metal rod there, you lose the full mobility of your
Yes.
spine. So it's a lot of trade-offs. Or I mean, at some point you might ask, for all this cost, what was the reward we were looking
Yeah.
for? Was it just a visual, straighter body, but now you can't move so well? Diba? Was the pain so bad that tama naman, you needed some intervention. But then again, it opens you up to more risk
Yeah.
also. Because it's a major surgery. And not to
Yeah.
mention the cost. Again, it's so expensive.
Also,
Before, people had to really fly out. Even now, actually, people still really need to fly out just to get the
yeah.
surgery.
And
And
danger of human error as well. Like one
correct.
right cut, that's it.
Yes, exactly. That's spine, di ba? Your
So much
spine
risk.
falls there. Too
Yeah.
much risk. And I mean, of course, for me, hands down to all the surgeons out there, they're really doing
Yes.
a great job. Anything emergency, anything, we really need,
Absolutely.
we
Yes.
really
I
need surgeons out there.
I love
Um,
Grey's Anatomy.
yeah. Diba? So anything like or a more recent sa K-drama yung Trauma Code. Yeah, I love that show. It's or the one my parents like yung Doctor Romantic.
Heard about
It's all
that.
ER trauma.
The Pit.
Uh,
I like The Pit.
I haven't seen that one.
Oh,
The
it's
Pit.
good. It's
The
good. I
Pit.
like it.
But that's the thing, no? We had to get their help na anong magagawa natin kaya with scoliosis. And that's what they know how to do.
Yeah.
But then it doesn't really fit that aspect of emergency trauma, need that drastic opening up and everything.
Uh-uh.
But
Yeah.
now you're faced with this condition that's been present in their teen years. They carried it over for a decade or so, but then the approach is drastic and open.
Yeah.
So I really felt, I mean, is this the way? There must be other styles. And so I read more into it, and you will have actually a lot of therapists and styles and methodologies that are actually trying to address it. Especially one very established method is the Schroth method. Um, it's been around for quite some while, and you had Emil as a guest, no? And I think he's one of the few
Yes.
Schroth guys. Yeah.
HMEL. Yes.
So
Yes.
they're really doing great work. And I was coming naman from a perspective of athletic training. And what we wanted to achieve in terms of athletics was how can we develop your weak side so that we can confuse your opponent. It was more a strategy.
Oh, nice.
So, for
Okay.
example, basketball, they know you're right-handed and you would lay up with your right. What if we developed your left? And all of a sudden they're like, huh? You went to the left? There's a strategy thing. Uh,
Right.
for boxing, how about if you're able to change your stance? All of a sudden, you go southpaw, and that's going to really mess with
Yeah.
your opponent's mind. So the context was strategy. How do we develop your weak side? Same perspective sa bodybuilding. It's very symmetrical ang habol nila. Diba? Work on the weaker muscles at hahabol sila for development. So that was the context I was working with and I was used to working with and I enjoyed operating in. And then comes in scoliosis. And I get an inquiry about scoliosis. And then, of course, I was nervous. Like, can I do this? Diba? Imposter syndrome. Diba? Talaga ako dyan. Suki ako dyan.
Oh, yes. I know. Me too.
and and then like, wait a minute, okay, just breathe, think about it. If you can work on the symmetry of an athlete in terms of their strength, power output, their reflexes, shouldn't this be the similar case? Because you have an asymmetry. One side is weaker, one side is relatively stronger or used to more movement. The other one is restricted. You are sort of waking up the muscles and the fascia on one side.
To counterbalance.
To balance, yes, counterbalance. Isn't that what I've been used to doing with athletes? I'm like, oh man, no. I just scale it down, make the regressions a little, longer, more room for a person to follow. Because not everyone with scoliosis is an athlete. In fact, a lot of them were told to avoid sports because it might complicate things. And so I just scaled down my programming with the mindset of balancing left and right. Again, sort of reverse engineering. And then I say, if we apply this gradually, who knows? At the end of the day, the worst that can happen is they'll just
Nothing happens.
nothing, or they'll feel more confident using their weak side.
Right. Yes. Right.
And so that's how it really started, from that idea of athletic symmetry applied and scaled down for scoliosis. Because when I observed like sports at mga athletes na yung racket sports lalo na. So for example, pickleball yan. And you will begin to see, diba, you will choose a side. You will choose your dominant arm.
Yeah.
And if we look at, let's say, sa tennis muna tayo, let's say,
Okay.
Rafa Nadal. Okay, everyone loves Rafa, right?
Yes.
And he's very muscular, loves to wear sleeveless shirts, and you really see his arms. But you will notice his left arm is so huge compared to his right.
Yeah, lefty kasi.
Big development. And you will even see with most tennis players, I think even Sharapova, you will see this like Serena Williams, their dominant arm is pretty much larger, way bigger. It weighs more, and definitely at rest, their shoulder will probably drop because of just that weight relative. So technically, they created a form of scoliosis.
Right.
Through their sport practice, training, and hobby. They put it on themselves. Not intentionally, of course, but it's there. They created an asymmetry. And in fact, probably that helps their game. And that gave me the idea, again, yung reverse engineer, diba? If we can do that, then we can just reverse it to the other side.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's like going back, if we can make ourselves sick, diba, by thinking about it.
Totally.
Get better.
Totally, yeah.
So that's how it really started. And then I was, blessed with an opportunity to work on someone who was already in her late 20s. And she's had her scoliosis all the way back from her teens. Because usually that's when it really manifests. Yeah. Kasi your curves will be magnified.
So much self-evaluation there, yeah.
Yeah.
So the hormones and all, yeah.
Yeah, and now I connect it more when you mention self-evaluation, especially like for women, when they wear like an evening gown or they go to the beach, they're so concerned because it's as if they only have one curve on one side and then this whole side is just straight. And then their shoulder is dropped. they have a hump here. So I could see like it creates this cycle, diba, of that lack of loss of confidence, and then they self-devaluate more, and then
Yeah.
it just spirals
Yeah.
and spirals. And at
Yeah.
the center of it is the structural patterns that are being reinforced even further. And so my goal at the start was, let's first check if you are in pain. Kasi I cannot push forward with our program if you are in pain. For
Yeah.
me,
Coach, sorry, mag-orange glasses ka na kasi it's gabi
I
na.
thank you, good. So for those who know, I have two pairs.
True biohacking. Yes.
Perfect,
Perfect.
yes. Um, when my
In pain.
first, yeah, the first thing I operate is with the pain first. Because if you are in pain, I want to find a solution to that first. See, it's gonna just totally derail the program and distract you from executing well. So that's what we try to address first. Many theories to it. There's this whole side of pain science, and that's very deep,
Yeah.
and a lot of clashing arguments. And then it can be tied up with many things, nga, deeper issues. I try to approach it more from a structural point of view. Kasi I was trained more on a biomechanics context, talaga, no? Structure, relationship of structure, and the physics behind it. And true enough, if the physics is off, it's gonna create stress points, and that
Yeah.
continuous stress triggers. So that's how I would address it like normally. Um, and when this first client of mine reported on the weekend after that, for the first time in like 15 years, she woke up zero pain. That
Wow.
that really, like, I felt as relieved as her. Like, wow.
Oh my
we,
gosh.
we got somewhere, we achieved something, no? Parang, and that really gave me more motivation to really polish up on this aspect. And what I loved about it was that the approach was structural. So in other words, variables within our control pa din, within our
Yeah.
control. Um, and something I was at least confident with in terms of practice on clients and on myself, and um, things that I studied, diba? I could apply. I could actually really apply. So now I had the actual case for it. And
Perfect.
we jumped over that phase of the pain, and now it was about, okay, we can focus on the structure. And the nice thing was the way we addressed the pain was also structurally. So it didn't really deviate so much. Hindi kami napuntang dito muna and then mabalik. We were just really following it in a very gradual progression. Um, and part of my sessions with the client is I talk to them about fascia. I really educate them then about fascia, at least on the level that they need to understand that we have a spiral line. And you notice if you look at one of your feet, you might notice that it's flatter than the other. So things like that are very interesting. You'll come across. So if you notice, like the spiral line, it goes across here and then here, and then it loops. It will loop around the foot.
That, coach, that looked like the kidney meridian. What that line
Uh,
that you just traced looked like the kidney meridian.
oh wow!
Yeah.
Actually,
Oh.
the meridians talaga. If you like superimpose them with fascia,
Yeah.
there are so many points that just
Yeah.
connect
Totally.
up. And you're
Totally.
and you're wondering, like, how did they come up with that like thousands of years ago? That was really
Corpses.
really
So
crazy.
this is the interesting thing about acupuncture though. They researched it on corpses, which means that natanggal yung factor of live tissue.
That's right.
So kulang pa. I mean
Kulang
what
pa.
they know, kulang pa because hindi considered yung live tissue. So there's more pathways pa than that.
And now you have like ultrasound where it's live
Yeah.
feed. It's amazing where we can reach at this point.
Thank you, modern technology. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's where that's the path that led us with this client of mine, and it was very timely for her because after after about six months or so, almost 6 to 10 months, her boyfriend proposed
Oh my
marriage.
God.
Diba? So parang I felt like, wow, on these huge milestones of your life there. And one concern the first concern she asked me was, so I had my first gown fitting, and
Yeah.
her tailor was concerned from the scoliosis. He said, "Don't worry, lalagyan ko ng padding so pantay siya." So they will just do something like that. And I said, "Well, let's see. We still have several months to prepare. Let's get back on track." Kasi there was a time she got so busy with work. Kasi nawala na yung pain eh. So there siguro was an
Oh.
emergency na eh, di ba? She was okay naman with her structure eh, di ba? But the pain that she was so happy nawala. And then she kind of got busy with work, had work abroad. So natigil kami for a few months. And then she came back kasi nga, my boyfriend proposed. So now,
Gosh.
focus is the visual because of her gown. And so I said, okay, this is nice. We have concrete milestones. So we worked on that. Nagsipag siya. Sige, coach, I'll commit na 2 times a week na ako with you and then I'll do the homework. I promise. So we stuck with it. And then a few months when she came back for her next fitting, the tailor was so surprised. Like, what happened? I don't need to put padding na.
Oh my gosh.
She,
Oh.
we'll make the gown as designed. We're good to
Wow.
go. And so
Grabe.
she's so happy. And this was just like, one happy event after the other. And then the nice thing also was training for scoliosis. I always try to incorporate how you would operate walking. Kasi that's
Yeah.
an activity you do all day. We cannot avoid walking. We count it in the thousands. It's probably the only physical activity we count in the thousands that we consciously do. And we don't realize one correction with the way we walk our gait cycle and multiply. We could do like, 8, 9, 10,000 corrections a day. And who knows, maybe there's a certain pattern in our gait that causes us just, a sliver of anxiety. Kasi maybe there's some pressure here,
Yeah.
and you get rid of that, and all of a sudden you realize, wow, that just changed the whole landscape.
Yeah.
So I incorporate your walking, your gait mechanics, especially with scoliosis. You see, you can tell someone to align themselves like this, diba? Pero when they walk, biglang all the bad habits come back.
Bumalik.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I try to do the therapy in context of their movements. I ask, do you play any sports? Do you have any hobbies? Or do you wish you had a sport or hobby? Maybe you were told to stop because it might affect the scoliosis. And we find strategies. So I said, actually, no, everything fits. If you want to play tennis, you're right-handed. Your curve is to the right. Your rib is up here. Your forehand will actually help push your
Yeah.
forward.
Oh, cool. Pwedeng pickleball.
Pickleball also applies. The same mechanics.
Yeah, whole arm.
Correct. And so when they understand what's going on in their body, where their curves are, they get a better connection with how they operate in the day. And it gives them confidence to play sports. And I encourage that. I encourage movement they enjoy. Strategies na maging dual purpose. You enjoy it na, and then it helps. In the end of the day, ang kalaban natin is like 15 years of habits, di ba, from scoliosis. So you can't realistically expect in 2 weeks you will overcome 15 years of habit. So it's a work in progress. But like I always say, if we can achieve this in just 2 weeks versus 15 years, the pace is already so fast. Think about 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 6 months, 1 year consistency, and your body will really thank you. Just returning it to neutral with just the right perspective and awareness. And that's what we achieved with this client on the way to her wedding day. Her walk was very graceful.
Wow.
And then came the next phase. She had always been concerned about with her curvature, will it affect getting pregnant and delivering? And I just recalled that no, they were married now, and then she announced she was pregnant. And she delivered normal,
Oh my
everything.
golly.
So all the faces with that client was really wonderful. That journey also.
Grabe. It's so possible. Coach, did you watch one of my guests last week, Dr. Julie Russell Clark? Because
No,
she
not yet.
okay. It's so she does neural organizational technique. So it was founded by Carl Ferreri, and it's also this very intuitive. It uses muscle testing. There's also a little bit of physical, but the number one thing that she said that it really fixes is because it utilizes the self organizational writing reflex of the whole body. Like it will write itself. If
Yes, yes, yes,
given the
yes.
tools, it will reorganize itself, reset itself with the proper tools. And she said scoliosis is the number one thing that she has addressed with it. It's all parang the same no na we can just find a way to combine all of them together like Gary has. Like Gary, I think did all of that. I'm sure he has neural organizational also, chiropractic also. He has fascia stuff. Lahat kinombine na niya into one thing. 'Di ba? Na parang we can just write ourselves. So my question to her was like, Dr. Julie, can we do it on ourselves? Or do we need somebody to do it for us to parang, to resonate with, to co-regulate with or whatever? She said, yeah,
Mm.
there are some ways na pwede. But I guess maybe on your end, pwede ba, you think scoliosis can be righted by oneself lang?
From a, I'll speak from a biomechanics
Yes.
perspective. To a certain extent, yes, I believe, because one of my one of my cases naman was during the pandemic. I think it will help now if I'll show a few visuals.
Sige, I wait. You can share.
I could share naman here.
Oh,
Yeah, I think it will help. Also, the viewers can have a bit
yeah.
about what we're talking
Yeah.
about.
You're okay. We've been talking for 2 hours. Okay lang.
Wow, 2 hours na ba? I didn't realize. No, okay, no, okay. How about you? Okay, no.
I'm okay. I'm super okay. Yeah.
Okay,
I'm
yes,
learning
yeah.
so much.
Let me ano lang, that here. Okay, so yeah, this one's a nice sample here.
Yeah. So the audience will see how galing you are.
So let's see here. Share. Yeah, share.
Okay. Sharing. And oh my gosh.
Okay, there.
Wow.
There
10
naman.
sessions lang.
Yes, so this is 10 sessions. And this was done during the pandemic. So look, it's June 18, 2021, which means everything was online. And and this is what we started with. So we did 10 sessions, which is more or less we were seeing each other twice a week. So parang 5 weeks. 5 weeks.
Wow. She got fit pa, coach.
Yes.
Parang she became
Oh.
toned.
Yeah, kasi the exercises, again, di ba, I told
Oo.
you yung origins ko kasi are athletic training. So meron
Oo.
pa rin ano yun, origins of like, it will test your body din talaga.
Wow.
Yeah, an ingredient also there is developing muscle tone and tension on these areas that have been dormant because of
Right.
retensioning the body. The concept of tensegrity is really,
Integrity. Right.
really applied here to scoliosis. And the very interesting thing that happened here was that after the 10 sessions, basically the way I work is we slowly build a program. I only progress you to new exercise when I can see you're confident already applying it and you understand how to execute. And then that's when we will progress a little more. So yung 10 sessions is different pace for each person. It will depend. In her case, she's a little lucky in the sense that her hobby is dancing. She loves to dance. She loves dance choreography. So hip hop, K-pop. So she's very attuned to cues. Kaya sabi ko, perfect to, pang online. Verbal cueing lang. Diba? I just say like, okay, move your hip a little bit to the right. I want you to shrug up your left shoulder. Okay. And then I want you to imagine you're gonna face your chest to the right. So she was really following so well. Kasi she's used to all these cues, diba? So after the 10 sessions, I said, wow, your program looks really good. I recommend you continue this, no? Even if you're not seeing me regularly na. You have a very nice program na that we built for you. So all I'm gonna ask from you is at least 4 times a week. 4 times a week, dedicated time, about 20 minutes lang at a time yon. And then you have some go-to exercises that you can do throughout the day, some breathing techniques also that you can do just when you're seated, para lang you're aware. And then she said, okay, thanks, coach. I'll try it muna on my own. I want to see if I'm disciplined enough. I said, sure, please do that. And then the only thing I'll ask from you after trying it out by yourself for about 1 month, you send me a picture lang of your back. Again. And so she did. And then this is the photo she sent, the one on the right.
My gosh.
And I put it side by side with our first day. And then I sent it to her. And then she cried because you rarely see your back, di ba?
Yeah. Yeah.
and and she didn't realize how significant the changes were.
Yeah.
And this is just a little every day, di ba? Like I mentioned, it's just a 20-minute routine daily. I said, think about like brushing your teeth or taking a shower. You or even just doing a workout. Doing it once, I mean, there's not really much difference. It's the consistency of it. It's when you talk about
Oo.
hygiene, it's long term. It's how
Moving
consistent.
the needle. Yeah, moving the
Yes.
needle. Oo.
I said you might not notice anything again in one practice session, but you compile these. And this is
Wow.
what you have. You have
Grabe.
like this.
That stays permanent, coach. Doesn't move back or whatever, unless she has another self-evaluation, maybe, or what's in your experience?
Maybe I would say, especially now that you opened up in a tying in GHK, I think that would be a perfect complement to it to really sustain it. Of course, the challenges here will still be, like I mentioned, we're talking of decades of habits. Whether
Oo.
it's habits uh, physically,
Mm-mm.
structurally, or even habits in terms of her
Belief.
psyche, her
Yeah.
her perspective, her confidence, and all of that. I'd like to think the structures that we help restore build her confidence back also. And it creates this nice, now she has a nice feedback loop. Diba?
Right.
Whereas
Yeah.
before, feedback loop niya kasi is, uh, I have this weird
Yeah.
posture, I don't have confidence, and then it will create a feedback. So ngayon, that's the goal, is to create a healthy feedback loop that
Yeah.
will allow her to even continue these exercises. I still recommend, of course, that still do the exercises when you can, or engage in an activity where it's sort of built in. And at a certain point, even just your walking, it will help correct the walk. So taking a walk consciously is actually already applying all of these things. And again, it's rewriting, reprogramming our
Right.
reflex actions. I like to use the analogy of we're trying to just restore you back to factory settings. It's
Yeah. That's the idea of NOT also. And
yeah,
yeah, neural organization, going back to the neurology, the
yes, yes,
original, what was supposed to be, because sometimes we have birth defects or impediments, and it screws up, even if we have like like a birth trauma, through the birth canal, or if we've had cranial trauma, we had an accident, or even in the dentist chair, that kind of screws up our alignment,
yes.
diba? Yeah. So there has to be a way for us to do it on our own, na parang we can go back. And she mentioned some stuff, applied kinesiology. They're all super related there.
Yes.
Applied kinesiology, neuro-emotional technique, muscle testing, all of that.
There's so much, no, na parang you can't
So
study it all.
much. And you know what, coach? The fascia is involved in all.
It's all, that's the
Lahat.
common thread. Na.
Lahat.
That's the
Period.
common
Lahat. Galing. My
galing,
gosh.
galing.
Yeah.
And
So,
I'm happy every time I have a new client. So client um, intake. Our first session is all visual. It's like I present, like, did you know you have this in your body? And then I use analogies like this. So I have a floating table here.
oh, integrity. Yeah.
Integrity model, no? So,
Yeah.
di ba? It can look, if it's not aligned, it looks like it's broken, but we have the proper alignment here, and now you have a working table. If your muscles here are very shortened, now you will see the structure begin to change. We just have to
Right.
restore tension equally, di ba, on
Yeah.
all sides. And we're very resilient because we can be compressed, but we will go back to our original.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you always think like, Coach, is that a magic trick? Anong, like, there's no magic here. That's just our
That
body.
does. Yeah.
It's magical. Our body's magical.
With the
You know,
anti-gravity muscles and
on
all.
its
Yeah.
own. Yes, yes. Um, And I think scoliosis is that challenge that really will test your knowledge in terms of from a biomechanics perspective, no? Um, how do we balance out that tension in the fascia and in the muscles, not just static, but in their movement. So it's all about spotting movement compensations. I'll ask them to do a certain task, and then I'll see, oh, okay, you have this habit of pushing your hip here, maybe your knee caves in. It's just really refining lang all these details. So as I continue to get more and more clients with scoliosis, every case was a learning scenario for me also, because everyone's unique. Everyone's really unique. And I'm so thankful for all my clients who've been with me through scoliosis or currently with me. They probably don't know it, but they're probably teaching me so much more.
So
Um,
much.
each case talaga. And I'm very blessed, I would say, because when I try to reassess how I learn things, I'm naturally a learn by teaching type of person. Di ba, yung iba auditory, visual, a little of each. Pero I've always been the type of learning by teaching. That when I start to verbalize things, I get the ideas more. And
Yeah.
oh wait, let me write that down. Let me go
Yeah.
back to that.
Yeah. They
And
really are teachers, eh, di ba? Or you meet, I mean, it's not an accident that you meet the ones that your clients are the ones that you address because they're also teaching you something. They mirror something in you,
yes,
and you're co-creating a discovery or a possibility together that
for
you
sure,
have
yes.
no idea what they are, but
Correct,
with each
correct.
other, the synergy of the two of you, it becomes a possibility.
Yes,
Yeah.
100%. Oh, so,
Imagine how much money you would save those people who had surgery, coach. Oh my gosh.
oh boy, yes. Like here's another case. She was already lined up to go abroad for surgery. Uh,
Okay.
like she was in the
Girl,
short
girl again.
girl again, right?
Wow, grabe.
Similar pattern also. Yeah.
Wow.
Uh,
Similar.
and she was already in the short list for surgery. And her mom was so concerned, as a mom should be, all mothers naman. But then she
Oo.
did her own research and just Googled scoliosis surgery. And she was horrified. She was like, I can't. Mom, please. And the mom was like, what are we going to do? That's the only solution. She's like, it can't be the only solution. Like that. So went on social media, searched.
Eh.
And then, yeah, I came up for some reason. I guess
Yeah.
it pays to hashtag that, hashtag scoliosis.
You know what's so funny? The picture on the right, she
Yep,
looks perfectly straight, but her dress X is tabingi.
that's right.
Diba? But
Yeah,
she looks completely straight.
yeah. She's probably used to like the dress one
Yeah,
side.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
Fake.
This is a similar. I think we did 15 sessions. I think 15 to 20. But
Yeah.
again, this was also online. It's also online.
Wow.
Her case is unique because she loves to bike. She's a competitive cyclist.
Okay.
And it was tough on her back kasi di ba yung road bike, ganun
Ah,
talaga.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So affected talaga performance niya because of,
Oo.
she would get really tired easily. Yeah. So she went through that. And what I loved about this case naman was she was so happy because she got on the bike again and she started training again. And she was so happy, no more pain. And then a few months down the line, she sent me a photo. She was in the podium.
Golly.
Super happy
Grabe.
for like things like that. Kasi my goal as a trainer, I don't want to dictate what your hobbies or sports are. I want to support you in them. I try my best talaga, not to start off the program with, oh, bawal ito, bawal yan ha, don't do this na. I try my best to just ask, what do you love to do? What are you passionate about? Okay, kaya lang it hurts when you do that. How do we bridge that? I mean, what's life for? It's to enjoy the things that we're passionate about. And if I'm just gonna stop you from your passions because of your scoliosis, it's just a lose-lose situation.
It will lower their morale and their self-esteem will lower even more.
And then your feedback loop again is just hard
Yeah.
to break. out of.
And likely will not heal because it's a self-evaluation, and
Yeah.
or it will take a longer time, and you
Yes,
just have to compensate it with something new that they have to find that makes them equally happy. And
correct,
it's
correct.
just make everything that you said is just makes it so much simpler.
Deeper
Diba?
layers and layers na naman. And I often hear this, and I think it's with good intentions naman. I often hear recommendations from doctors who tell people with scoliosis to stop engaging in rotationary sports, actually.
Yes.
It's with good intention naman. It's just that, it's coming from a framework kasi that the only option was surgery. There
Yeah.
weren't exercise modalities to it, which actually boggles me also because like the Schroth method has been around for so long, for so long.
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess their social media presence just isn't that large, but they've had really wonderful results. Um, and and now I'm happy because we are seeing more and more methods. I'm not claiming that I have the only method or the best method. I'm just presenting that hey, I have a method. if you like it this way, and now I explained where I'm coming from, athletic training, and I try to scale it down. I try to keep it fun, energetic, in the context of your passions, and then you learn a little about fascia. Yeah, I think it's a win-win. Parang ganun.
Right.
That's what I'm in for. You can sign up. But and so I think with the conversation more open now and more results coming out that are non-invasive. Hopefully, it helps then with educating the general and public na you actually can engage in sports, especially if you understand your curves. You can even use your sport to help correct your
Right.
symmetries. Diba?
I
It's
love
it's a completely different perspective na
Yeah.
fear-based. Na bawal ito.
Correct.
Bawal yan. It will worsen. It will like this, like that. Diba?
Mm.
Kasi, yeah, sayang eh. It'll be stuck in a
Yeah.
feedback loop.
And
Which
movement is life. We were born to move,
we're
period.
part of. Yes.
Even if we're not moving, we're moving, Our breath is moving, the heart is beating, things are
Yes, yes,
happening. If the minute we stop moving, we're dead. And
exactly. So to
it,
create fear of movement is
yeah,
parang counter everything.
super counter human.
Counter,
Parang, I
yeah,
mean, the fact that we evolved from aquatic, where we only had cephalocaudal, movement from the head to tail. Then we became reptilian. Then we became proxidistal and all. But then we became upright, and we had limbs that were equal length. And then anti-gravity muscles allowed us to become bipedal, which opened up more possibilities for movement, like the stuff that people can do, the gymnasts and the athletes and all. My golly, we were born to move.
really, really
Talaga.
what. And we
Amazing.
just the fact alone that we have the Olympics, we have various martial arts, we have various sports. It's just the expression of it. It doesn't even have to be grand scale. It could be that's why you have people just enjoying a Zumba session.
Yeah.
Or they just dance,
Yeah.
even dancing alone in your
Oh my
living room.
gosh.
Life.
Dancing is the best of all. Dancing is like life. Sobra.
when
Everything about it.
when I had that, yung isa kong guy nga who's a dancer, di ba? It was such a fun session. Like, we're just laughing the whole time. I'm like, I have a friend who's a dance choreographer. Come across him, Kevin Antiquera, and very talented dance choreographer. And before the way I got connected with him was because I would get him to teach dance classes when I was managing a branch of Anytime Fitness before. So it's fit in the class schedules. And getting was a crowd favorite, and then we became good friends. And then just to be part of the community, I would sometimes join in the dance classes, diba?
Okay.
So ako yung dancing manager.
Dancing manager.
Yeah, and so it was really funny and fun. So yung mga terms na yung mga pate bure, mga ganyan. And so I was training my client for scoliosis, and I would throw these terms, and then she just laughed and laughed. She's like, Coach, paano mo alam yung terms na gano'n? Like,
Oh my gosh.
and I was like really impressed kasi of her control. But the thing lang, she didn't understand what her curves were kasi the x-ray comes out and then they just put impression, thoracic dextroscoliosis. Big
Right.
word, intimidating words, and it feels like it's the end of the world, di ba?
Yeah.
Thoracic dextroscoliosis, di ba? Not everyone knows like the sections of the spine to begin with, and then just the word thoracic sounds like Jurassic or scared, but it's just really
Yeah.
engaged. And then
Yeah.
dextroscoliosis. Right? It's really intimidating. But when I break it down to her and I say, this is your thoracic, dextro means right, and then scoliosis. So dito pala yung curve ko. Yep. So that means, let's say, nanonood ka ng TV, kung uupo ka sa couch, okay, instead of staying here, how about you stay here? And watch,
Yeah.
just little things like that. It just, wow, okay, pwede pala. Little
That's
happen
simple.
there. And then it adds up. It adds up, no? But it starts with understanding, of course, their structure. And if they don't understand the structure, they just know they have scoliosis. It's scary. It's scary to think of that.
It sounds scary, eh. It really, I
That's
mean,
scary,
for
yes.
people who don't understand it, yeah.
Yeah, if you understand it, suddenly it's not as scary as it is. Save of course for mga extreme instances.
Oo,
Talagang, syempre,
tama.
any naman, di ba? Case. But I also like to tell, so kung female, I tell them, you know that we have a Miss Universe Filipina who has scoliosis. Catriona Gray actually has scoliosis.
Oh, really? How does she do that turn?
In fact,
With
that's
the
an
scoliosis.
interesting
Is it
question.
because of that scoliosis she can turn like that?
Yes. Now
Because she has a dominant,
that's the
twist?
working theory is that when she turned, apparently because they're in high heels, they have very small shoes, they have to exaggerate their hip sway. Very demanding pala when I saw the
Yeah.
background from pageants. And when she had to do the turn, she got a bit of pain from her scoliosis. Theory lang to, guys, in case who really knows the story. Because of that momentary pain, she stopped for a millisecond, causing her hair to move ahead, and then she finished the turn, which created this nice slow motion effect that potentially made her gain more points and actually win.
Oh my god. You mean the hair had something to do with it too? Like the torque or something? Or no?
But I trying to ask like my wife, female friends who are more into the Miss Universe, and to ask like what was so special about her turn, because apparently they all have signature turn
Yeah, I forgot
walks.
the name of it.
They have a name, but
There's a name. Yeah, forgot.
apparently Catriona had this like slow motion effect now. That was so
Yeah,
unique.
yeah.
And if you connect the dots with the scoliosis, and because of that slight trigger that allowed her to inadvertently create a unique turn.
Oh wow! If anybody knows Catriona, Catriona herself can comment here. Is that what happened? That would be
Yes, please confirm.
amazing. Another way of using your body to for something. Like Michael Phelps.
Yes.
Not
So
everything is bad.
I always tell my female clients of scoliosis that, first of all, 3% of the world has it. So you're not alone. Don't worry. That's 3 million Filipinos. And then we even have a Miss Universe who has scoliosis. And she's super cool. Catriona's super cool about it because every June, it's Scoliosis Awareness Month. She has the striped shirt campaign. So she wears a striped shirt because if you have scoliosis, the stripes will be, diba? You will
Yeah.
see more. And she turns around and then you see stripes talaga are uneven. And she's very heavy on the scoliosis awareness campaign. So she's really cool like that.
Call it Catriona,
Yes.
but coach.
So and lalo na if the story is true, diba? She can confirm the third.
Yeah.
What more?
So calling anybody who knows Catriona to please contact Coach Leo
Yes.
if she wants to change. Apparently 10 to 15 sessions pwede na. So let's see. Oh my gosh!
I mean, nanalo na siyang Miss Universe. Ano pang gagawin namin? But,
Oo, bakit di
for
bakit di na
awareness.
niya the turn? I've forgotten the name that the turn. Let's see. But please, nananawagan po kami kung kilala niyo si Catriona. Pa-contact lang si Coach Leo.
But it's such a nice story for ladies with scoliosis.
Yeah.
Pag sa men, we usually talk about Usain Bolt. Usain Bolt has scoliosis. The fastest man in the world has
Fully.
scoliosis, which is mind blowing again.
Medyo
Personally, though, I think he retired one Olympic competition early. I feel like he could sana do one more. Pero he,
oh,
he started to complain of lower back pain. Oo
gosh.
nga eh.
Gusto lang nila. I mean, what would stop them? Why kaya would they not wanna?
Nothing to
Not
lose, di ba?
nothing
Yeah.
to lose. Well, I guess people because they don't know about what you can do. Maybe nobody knows
Yes,
that
there's a
such a service
shroud.
exists.
Yeah, there's a shroud to it right now.
And that it's organic, it's not medical.
Correct, correct. And then the shroud doesn't even start with me and my work. I mean, like shroud therapy has been there for decades. So
Yeah.
there has been a shroud there. You know, many theories can come about. You could go sort of like full conspiracy theorist mode and say there's an actual suppression going on, di ba?
Yeah.
Na
Yeah.
there is a quota for certain surgeries. I mean, you can look at it from that perspective. And to a certain extent, I will say that's not entirely coming from thin air, no? Kasi I have a personal experience with that one. Back in the pandemic years where all my work was online, after a few success cases like this, I compiled them. So similarly, photos, the description. I wanted to reach out to an international market on Facebook, joined, I forget the exact, they all sound the same, like scoliosis, something, something. It was a large group. It was like 100,000,
Oh.
150,000. It's very huge. And a lot of people were asking these questions. Na I felt, and I was so concerned. Like my heart was at that point, like I said, they're like, will this stretch help me? I saw this on YouTube, these like people are really very desperately trying to look for something. And so I said, let me just shoot my shot here. I'll just share my before and after and client testimonials. And then who knows, people might message in. So I got accepted naman to the group, just answered a few questions like that. Yeah, and then I introduced myself. Hey guys, I'm a personal trainer from the Philippines. I do online work. I just wanted to share some of my client testimonials and a few before and after photos. I posted that, went to have my dinner, and come back to my phone, it's exploding with messages. My inbox was like,
Wow.
I was like, I'm from India, I'm from Africa, I'm from, like all these countries were messaging me. And then I was like, wow. That's when I realized like there's so many people talaga.
Yeah.
And then I said, since they were asking how do we start with your program? What do we need? Like that, like that. And then I put all the details kasi on the post, what info they can give me. Just brief your age, if you have history of injury. So I would message all of them, parang mass reply, just to say, please refer to the post so you can prepare na. If you're serious about it, you would give me more info. And reply that. And then they would all tell me, your post is gone.
Serious?
I was like, I just posted that like 10 minutes ago. Can't be. So I go to the page and look for my post. I can't find it. It's really gone.
Oo.
And then I try posting and I can't anymore. I
Yeah.
was blocked from the group.
Yeah.
And so I go back to my messages, which stopped kasi wala nang nakakita. Diba? And I tell them, I'm so sorry. I don't know what happened. I'm not in the group anymore, but if you still like to push through, you could prepare this. And then one of them replied to me, American lady told me, oh, looks like you've been banned from the group. I'm like, but why? Was there anything wrong I said? I didn't, did I offend someone? What's going on? She's like, no, nothing wrong you did. In fact, you offered too much help. I was like, what? What do you mean? She said, well, as you know, the moderators of this group, they are doctors who are selling brace, not
Ah,
brace. And I was like,
yeah.
okay, I get it now. That's why I mentioned, the suppression part, not coming from thin air. There is a side also.
Meron. For
Side.
sure yan.
Kasi mind-boggling na ganun pa rin shrouded, di ba?
Oo. Yeah.
Modalities.
I mean, kasi
Uh,
even like with GHK lang, I mean, it can threaten the supplements, all of that medicines and everything. Yeah, kasi that will become moot when we are actually controlling our own biology just from what we're born with.
correct.
Not with any biohacking machine. Or of course, that's a bonus, but you get all of that from nature,
True,
diba? And
true.
with bioenergetics like nutrition, that's very hormone savvy and knowledgeable. Like it's all about energetics. I mean, my gosh, what else do we need?
Open about it. In fact, when it comes to like surgery for scoliosis, I'm not even super hard sell telling them stop this, don't do that. It's more of my pitch to them is I just want to present you with another option because you were probably told you only have one option.
Right.
I want you to know you have lang options here. Try it out. Walang mawawala literally. Like it's all net positives here. It's such a fraction of the cost of the millions you'll spend for your surgery. And if it's successful, you might not even need that. So really, it's what's there to lose to that. And that's really how I present it. Kaya when I was banned from that group, I was really boggled. Like I didn't even mention anything like don't have surgery or don't do that. I had no negatives. It was just all share positive results. If you liked it, message me.
Yeah.
And then banned, no? I felt bad for a while, but after a while, I thought, hey, that's validation.
Yeah. Yeah.
I, I
I
maybe
think
hit something here.
yeah, likely. And I think you should come out more on social media. I remember we were talking about this. So you have to get people, because what Marie Forleo said, if you
Yeah.
don't put yourself out there, you're stealing from the people
Oh, no.
who
Yes.
need your work. Your work. Yes, yes, I hear you, Marie. Me also, I know. But you, for people to know about you. Siguro kasi these people are also looking online and whatever. They can't find any program
Right.
or whatever,
Yeah.
diba?
And
So the
you can,
algorithm kind of blocks us from
yeah.
them.
And this generation kasi is the problem is you're overwhelmed also with so much. Yeah.
Too much.
And that's why I focused really when I publish something, I just try to show results. Kasi everyone's opinion kasi is out there. Eh.
Yeah.
Keyboard warriors. It's no, this is wrong, this is the right way. But at the end of the day, like results. Are you gonna argue with results? Diba?
When
So I
you
show
see it.
you may have a different opinion, we may have different styles. I just like to share about what's worked for me, for my clients.
Yeah.
And I'll be the first to say even that my work isn't perfect. There might be better ways, and every client I get is a new learning
Yeah.
process. But I try to keep it open like that. That it's evolving. It's at least it's still goal oriented of trying to solve the problem. It's more
And
efficient,
client centric, diba?
client
They need
centric.
program,
Yes.
not
I will
you.
share one last lang here para naman you see sa boys also.
Okay, okay. The boy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. May boy na.
Wow. Along with the tone, my gosh.
Oh yes, but
Build.
I won't take full credit for the tone, no, kasi he was preparing for a bodybuilding competition, and
Oh,
he also had a bodybuilding coach. Credits naman to ano.
how long did that take?
So this was an on and off thing. It's the journey of this client is very interesting. He is a gym owner all the way in Lucena, and I think he'd love if you're from Lucena, look for Wolves Ground HQ, one of the best run gyms there. Very very personal. He's the owner. He used to be competitive and in bodybuilding in his younger years, but as life got in the way, like he says, he kind of let go. And then he knew he had scoliosis, but he didn't bother to do anything about it and just let things be in lang. And then he's starting to realize that I feel older than what I really am. Um, I'm feeling these pains. This is weird. I used to be very strong and muscular, and I don't think it's a good example as the owner of the gym. So late last year, he made like this fire in him came up, and he was so motivated to turn things around. And he contacted me. He sort of like assembled a team, like he was doing like an Avengers team. So he got a bodybuilding coach, and then he got me to make sure as he's doing the bodybuilding program, we're still in line with aligning the body. And so it's a collaboration of the three of us, which I really love doing because it's specific skill sets that we can learn from each other. And then very client centered. So definitely, yeah. Shout out to his bodybuilding coach, very young talented guy, Jared Gara. If I got that, yeah, Coach Jared Gara. She worked on the physique, and then at the same time we were doing the aligning. So it's both challenging because his body's under a lot of stress for that bodybuilding period, but we still had to make sure the alignment was there. And we're so happy with the results. And he won. He won his competition in Manila. He
My
went
God.
home and they held a pageant and he's Mr. Lucena. Yes.
Wow, he looks it. And that's also validation for you, di ba? Look at the results. I mean, amazing. Grabe.
Grabe, grabe. And this is very recent actually. So just a few weeks ago, yung mga competitions niya. And so inspiring how he also turned things around. And now, great. I wish him the best talaga dun sa gym niya and everything. I'm sure he's such a big inspiration there. And I
And
was
then
so touched.
the other story is
Uh,
again. Sorry.
because travel from Lucena to go here. That was another thing for me. Like, oh,
Once a week he would travel.
yeah, no, active, very active. And then after a while, since he's very experienced, we would sometimes just brush up. We would do online. The first few sessions, I made sure, yeah, we were here so we could really establish a good base. And then, yeah, follow-ups we do online. But he would miss coming down here, so he would really make the effort. Really fun guy. And yeah, he's very, very into zodiac signs also. And then you realize we're both Leo. We're like, Leo, then Leo. Very good vibe, very good vibes. Yeah. And he really worked on himself. Super, super proud. Results to show, diba?
Coach, thank you so much. I've kept you for almost 3 hours. Imagine we talked for 3 hours. We could take. Do you still take your temperature?
On a daily, no. Not
No,
lately.
why not?
I should get back.
Yeah. I mean, it's all about habits, diba? I know.
Yeah.
The time I stopped, and then now it's like I think I should monitor my thyroid performance.
And also
Just
like first
because
thing in the
I want to get
morning.
into pickleball and all, even after eating in the morning and afternoon,
Yes,
and the
yes.
pulse rate and everything. So now I'm doing again buteyko in the morning, just one set, and then I'm taking my temperature before and after meals.
Oh,
Then
perfect. Ray Pete
yeah,
was big on that, diba? Especially
ah,
his Ray Pete was big on that.
this is repeat. This is I mean
Yeah,
what I'm doing is because of him.
correct, correct. Lalo na your first thing in the morning, the basal temperature.
The
And
basal temperature.
I love that he kind of broke the barrier there of he's looking for a higher temperature, diba?
Yes.
Kasi we all got afraid, oh, fever, scary, sickness. And the
Yeah.
other guy, like, I want to see it higher. I want to see your temperature.
Yeah, the higher the
That's a sign of
better.
health.
Because the thyroid talaga is it's huge. It's where we get our energy also is the thyroid, where it's non-stress related.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which was
Like,
huge for me. And that's why coach diba, tell us what repeat what they want you to eat that I was freaked out na parang what? Are you kidding? You want me
yeah,
to eat it? I was freaked out but happy at the same time. Why? Because what do
yeah.
we eat?
I know. So you were asking like what's a sample day, diba, what I would eat. And um and part of actually that was the biggest takeaway for me with Repeat was his inclusion of organ meats and the reason behind it. And I feel like we are very blessed in terms of Filipino cuisine because we have a lot of options, which are so foreign, for example, in American cuisine.
Uh,
Number one would be isaw, which is intestine. Diba? Popularly, you'll have chicken or pork intestine. And then, but the more popular one would be liver.
I love
Someone's come across liver even in pancit or adobo. Some people love it. Yes. And then when you have cuisines like sisig, you have like snout, ears, cheeks, the face. You go all the way to the tail, you have kare-kare.
right.
So we are literally eating an animal from nose to tail.
The tail, yeah.
There's a way of eating, di ba, called
Animal-based nose to tail.
NDT talaga nose to tail. And everything in between, from the heart to the intestine, the liver, the kidney. We have Philippine cuisines for this, and not all cultures have. And if we were trained young pa lang to appreciate it, it's so much easier for us to do. And what I really loved about how Ray Pete explained it was that our an animal or any organism has a distribution of its hormones across the body. And so if you just focus on eating one part, just let's say the muscle meats, you lose out on the other benefits that balance out the hormonal profile. And in fact, muscle meats, which we're so used to, the breast, thigh, wing,
Yeah.
it's actually very much concentrated with a lot of You think about it, stress. There's a lot of cortisol.
Methionine, histamine, yeah.
Tying it up with zebras, it all goes there so they can run. And
Kinetic
that's what we're used to eating.
Right.
And if we want a more balanced hormonal profile in terms of consumption, we want to consume the animal as a whole, as
the term, like the organs.
as nature provided it. And now things are balanced out when you include eating the liver, when you include the intestine, and when you, in some cases, even the heart that comes there, as much as we can. And then other areas which are even collagen rich, the ears, the cheeks, the snout, even the eyeball, even the brain. It's a well balanced meal, but we focused on just one aspect or portion for the longest time.
The gelatin from the oxtail, from all of that, there's also the gelatinous and all part of it that he wants us to eat also.
Yes, so that's
the glycine.
That's one thing that really influenced me with eating is to include more and more organ meats. You have all the plus factors to it. It's very rich in protein per gram, basically like a multivitamin, multimineral in one. You look at the profile, let's say, of beef liver, you literally have vitamin A to zinc in there. It even has vitamin C, which is crazy because we like to think C comes from fruits, citrus fruits.
Oranges, yeah.
Yeah, it actually it's the whole profile. And we miss out on that, and they're all bioavailable. It's so easily absorbed by our body. In fact, in nature, and they've seen this oftentimes when you have a pack of wolves, the alpha wolf is the first one to eat carcass. The first thing he goes for is the liver, always liver. And there's even a documentary of the wolf man. It's kind of a crazy documentary of a guy who lived amongst wolves, and he was respected by the wolves because what he would do is he would hang raw liver around and he would eat it in front of them. And then they respected him because he was the alpha. Observing things like this in nature, there's many things to learn in terms of the nutrition aspect. I think that alone, not everyone is ready for it because it's like, icky, diba? Or just trying to overcome that barrier. Add a little bit. If you're not too sure of it, there are supplements for that where they freeze dry and then they powder. Desiccate, diba? In capsule form na lang. I have those.
Like chicken liver.
Yes. Chicken liver and heart is very accessible, almost anywhere.
Beef liver you can find in SNR, I found before.
Correct. Ang mahirap lang, it's so huge.
It's hard to, it's parang may what you call this, fibrous or whatever, it's hard to.
Correct. You have to remove the silver skin a lot, and it's so messy. When I prepare it in the kitchen, it's so bloody. If you can overcome that and cook it well, it comes out like a steak, livery steak. It's very nice, pleasant. But I have on hand, actually, yung desiccated na... It's a combination of all. There's heart, liver, lungs, grass-fed beef.
Where do you get that?
On iHerb na. Yeah, on iHerb. So usually like Codage, yung mga trusted na brands, mga grass-fed. I have that on standby lang, if I feel like, okay, it was a day where I couldn't get a little more organ meats in, just to really supplement like that. But yeah, mostly Ray Pete has influenced me that way.
Yeah.
And then of course it's very big.
The biggest thing for me is sugar.
Yeah.
It's the revenant. It's like the comeback of sugar. Hindi na siya demonyo, as in it's medicine.
Medicine, yes.
It was totally my medicine because my metabolism stopped and sugar rejuvenated it.
You were like the perfect candidate for that time. Perfect. Like the timing of things, we connected, we talked about that. I didn't even know we were going through that. I was just trying to share.
Buti na lang at 40 plus, low thyroid function and high adrenals, high cortisol. Always OMAD and keto carnivore fasting. Perfect. I mean, it's so high stress because it takes so much methionine, whatever. In fact, they would say put collagen powder on when you cook steak because it will parang counter the methionine. The glycine will counter the methionine.
Correct. They're doing that balancing with the amino acid.
So I would do that. I'd do that, but it wasn't enough. And then when your thyroid shuts down and everything, and then you start to feel cold and gain weight, and then you really feel like blah, like there's no usok, wala nang fire, there's no metabolic fire. It feels terrible. Na like, and then the thing that you want to do, or what I did was like, I'll fast more para mag-stoke yung
Yes.
fire ulit.
Maybe
Eh, yun na
kulang
nga.
ang gawa ko, no? You start blaming by yourself.
And that's what we keep wanting to do kasi we think if we
Yeah.
don't eat, the metabolism will ano. But then if you don't eat so much, the metabolism will shut down as a survival response. So that's what happened to me, long-term carnivore, keto,
Oh
whatever.
boy. Wow.
And kulang, 'di ba? Carbohydrates. What's in carbohydrates? Water. What else is in it? It's converted to glucose, to glycogen, to fuel the brain and all. That's the medicine. So I started eating ice
So
cream
you,
and muscovado sugar, cane sugar in my coffee, like 2 tablespoons of muscovado, and then cream and whatever, yogurt yata and grapes. I just started eating the sugar, the lactose and all. My gosh, I felt normal again. I mean, I didn't care if I gained weight. I didn't care. What mattered to me was that I needed to sleep and feel like a person. Because
alive again.
when that's cerrado, I don't know how to describe the feeling. You just feel like an Oompa Loompa. It's like
Oh, man.
what there's just an oven na walang fire. As in wala. It's dry. It's dried out. I don't know what. And I wasn't the only one. There's also another person I know who did bulletproof with me at the same time, which was 2015 or something. Big on bulletproof coffee. Same thing. Pumayat because of keto, bulletproof diet, and loved it forever na akong magki-keto forever. But if you're a girl, we're so much more sensitive. We need to refeed carbs.
That's
So
right.
she went to the same thing and she said also, oh my God, I read his comment and I started eating carbs. In fact, the daughter was like, when she opened the fridge, she said, whoa, I've seen everything because she saw orange juice and ice cream in there. Where well yun before. Anything carbohydrate, bawal. It's like, oh, there's orange juice and ice cream here. So when she ate it, I was like, oh my God, there's something here. We're missing something. And now I'm all about bioenergetic way of eating.
It's
Sugar, man. Sugar talaga.
the combination of these. I'm sure someone can misinterpret it and go, oh, it's again all out sugar na pala. I mean, obviously there's a moderation is key aspect here.
Oo.
But again, it's about breaking lang these fears again. It's about
Oo.
opening the conversation again, not just shutting sugar down and it's poison. It has its
Oo.
context, it has its usefulness, and there is a reason why top athletes have such a high carbohydrate profile in their diet because that's their ready fuel source. And so it's still
Yeah.
it's within context. These are all great things. And if you balance out the amino acid profile, now that makes
Yeah.
your systems a little more efficiently working and processing all these foods much better. That's
Yeah.
what I really loved about the repeat diet. It opened the conversation again. You can drink the orange juice. You can eat your ice cream. You can have your meats.
Cheese.
You can have your cheese. Diba? You could
Yeah.
and
Enjoy.
it's understanding it and in your body also understanding it and
Yeah.
able to process it really
Yeah.
much better.
And that's the
And
reason we have three macros. We have carbs, we have
correct.
proteins and fat, which are converted into energy, diba? But
Yes.
and sugar, glycogen is like the fastest form of energy. And if we don't have enough, there's gluconeogenesis. There's a reason why then will the body break down
Still
protein and muscle
yeah,
mass to
correct.
convert it to glucose. Why? There must be something about glucose that we're needing, and then we're depleting glycogen depleting all the time. It's not like the best thing. I mean, if you notice, if you do it for a long time, you're not gonna sleep.
Yes.
Sleep the minute anything goes against my sleep, voila. I'm done. I'm not doing you anymore. I'm changing with repeat
Standard
totally.
totally.
Repeat gave me back sleep. And I'm not even hot flashing. I'm menopausal. It's not a secret anyway. Menopause at 49 too early, and I hot flashed a little bit during my hyperthyroid time when I was so payat during pandemic. Then I gained all this weight. Now I don't care because I'm sleeping better, but I'm not hot flashing at all. When I know there's so many women my age who have hot flashes. In GHK, we kind of know what it is, but there's an underlying layer of bioenergetics behind it. It's not just psychobiological. Because in GHK, it's a self-evaluation or some conflict that's not yet resolved from your younger years. Because in menopause, it comes back. for it comes back for whatever for available for resolution. And so there's some sort of thing there, some sort of self-evaluation. But there's also something about the HPA axis. Because I feel whenever I'm stressed about something, I can feel a little bit of it, but it doesn't go full force. But because of repeat, parang it balance that part. I don't feel it at all. Zero. As in zero.
Amazing.
Zero menopausal symptoms. I'm like an 11-year-old again without symptoms of anything. It's just
The balance, no? And
yeah.
did you see like and this is something I learned later na following repeat. Apparently he's written books specifically for women's hormones. That's really been his field of study apparently. Kaya
Okay.
talagang perfect.
Perfect.
Talaga.
Yeah.
It's pro-metabolism and then it's about all about balancing these hormones.
Yeah. Better read those
Everything is
books.
working tip-top shape, di ba, our systems. You can
Everything.
theoretically consume almost anything and it would process it the way
Dapat.
it should.
Yeah. It's the way of
Uh,
eating that makes sense to me. Period. And I've been through all as a coach. I mean, but this is it. Ice cream, guys. I mean, I
yeah.
don't actually eat ice cream anymore now. But before I did, when I had to jump start, ice cream was make giving me back life
Yeah.
just to jumpstart. And I know some coaches, they will jumpstart their clients with white sugar for the ones that are talagang patay na yung
Talaga, no? Oo.
hypothyroid talaga.
I eat ice cream occasionally. I know it's a little more expensive, but I would say Haagen-Dazs is really worth it because
Yeah.
when you look at the ingredient profile, it's literally sugar, cream, egg yolks, and whatever fruit like strawberry. That's it. Just the four.
Perfect.
It's a perfect profile. You have your cream, your sugar, you have your fruit. It's complete
And
meal.
the eggs too. The eggs
And the
is
eggs,
big in
complete meal.
repeat.
You got the proteins, the carbs, the fats, and
Oh,
it's so well balanced and it tastes so good. I
it's
mean,
so good. It's so good. It's life has come back, Like in the morning, I'll have 2 tablespoons of muscovado in coffee with milk. I don't use whole. I used to, but then I read na kahit skim is okay, just to have a little bit of fat. If you have
yeah,
too
yeah,
much fat, you will gain fats. Just have a little bit. So okay lang. So
yeah.
that coffee, blend it, and then liver with some ground beef and cheese.
Ah,
That's breakfast, and that's like the best.
yes, so good,
Feels
so good.
so yummy. I know. Thank you for showing me repeat because I think everything is about energetics. It's all about energy. And so when we look at energy, it's like the hormones that are triggering are, directing everything. So if we do everything from that level, chemical level, biochemical level, it's like we'll be vital forever.
Yes, we have to normalize actually being strong and healthy even at 100 years old.
Yes.
It's not something that we should be fearing or diba? I tell all my clients that like we're doing functional training, and my sincere wish for everyone is that we're still moving, laughing, and talking like this at 100 years old and beyond, because I think that's what we're here for.
Yeah.
That's what our bodies are designed for. You'll have all these diba, stories from the past. You have even these biblical accounts where they're hitting
Yeah.
200 years old. It was normal back then. And then something along the way, our average
Yeah.
is just in the 70s. And we're thinking
Yeah.
like, "Ito, pag-iti ako." I mean, I think we have to start to reorient that to
Yeah.
all new possibilities
And
that
then to have like true elders, right? To have elders pass down real knowledge instead of
yeah,
guesswork, or you can't burn the books this time because the elders are still alive and they're passing down
that's
knowledge
right.
and they're teaching
Uh,
all of their secrets, diba? So
yeah, you can
parang
misinterpret it na kasi they will explain.
yeah, like what I would do to have my grandparents still alive. I never met them. Like if they had, well, of course there was the crazy war, right? But
Yeah.
if they were alive to pass down the traditions orally or something like that, wouldn't it have been just amazing? Now we have the chance to do that for the people, our descendants now, because with biohacking, it's not just life spanning, it's health spanning. But I would also call it's like vital spanning. It's like as vital as you can be, no matter how old you are.
Yes,
That's
definitely.
our goal. That's our goal. My gosh, are we making this place like a daldala place?
Is
Dapat
anyone
we're
listening, pare? Sold out na.
okay lang. It's so funny. I don't do this for people to listen. I do it for
I know.
learning, sharing.
After the clock, I was like, really?
It's 8:30. Okay. But anyway, coach, for anybody watching the replay or anybody who's still here, where can we find you?
So I'm in most social media platforms. So you can find me on Facebook. I think I was tagged here now. Yeah, Leo Quesada. I'm also on Instagram. My Instagram ID is Quesadilio. So it's just a play my name. I post most of my work there actually, more on Instagram because it's very visual. But you can message me. Message me either way. You can also email me at leo dot qfitness, letter Q, fitness, gmail.com. If you're in the area, located in Parañaque, that'll be very convenient for you. You can drop by. But feel free, we could consult online first. You could message me, and then we could work anything out. And if your needs, whether we talked more about scoliosis today, but I wanted to also present that this is where my work led me to, and meaning it wasn't the only thing in my work. It's actually parang naging offshoot pa. So when it comes to athletic training, when it comes to functional strength training, sport specific training, that's always really been the foundations of this. So any of those needs that come and all the things that come with it, no, if you've been tolerating some knee pain or some back pain that's been there for months, years, or you want to get back to running, but suddenly your knee starts to hurt after a kilometer or so. Those are the things I love to work with. And definitely, I'll be excited to get you back into the things you love doing, your sport, your hobby, and all of that. That's my wish and goal for everyone to enjoy their life pain-free, strong, independent, and full of life.
Amazing. That's a great message, which I hope all of you will come to Coach Leo. And also, Coach and I are going to be collaborating on a program for athletes, and it will be, I don't know, we'll still have to talk about the format, but we're going to collaborate on biohacking high performers. So it will be holistic biohacking for high performers, and we're going to come out with announcements about that because we want the Filipino athlete to excel. And parang specifically, we want to work with pickleball and padel athletes or tennis and golf, some rotation, arm movement, and all of that, midline work and things of that nature. So yeah, we will talk about that and then we will see how we can offer that.
Yes, super exciting. Super exciting.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Coach, for giving us your time so generously. It's been hours and hours. I learned so much. Your stories are so inspiring, and please continue to do what you do and with a big, big smile and such great positive energy. It's the best thing about you, talaga. So thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you also. Like I said, I also learned so much from this. We learn by teaching also. Yes.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, Coach Eddie, for the opportunity. And I'm super, super looking forward for our projects together also.
Me too. Sobra. Okay. Thanks, everybody. And we'll see you on the next one. I hope you were able to gain some value in this 3.5 hour episode. It just so happens we both don't have anything tonight. So why not, talk about everything we can.
Yes.
Okay. Kulang. There's so many things. Let's do part 2. Let's do part 2 again.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, looking forward. Okay.
Right. Bye, everybody.